Mm, mm, mm. Oh, yeah. I'm with this, Wizzy. I'm just gonna lay back and I'ma drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. We about to set it straight. Ain't no half-stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half-stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash and humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half-stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk. Steppin is the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half-stepper with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. My brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk.
Is this thing on? All right, y'all. You know how Staff Marcus J live. We are back in the building, ready to have an outstanding show. It's been a few weeks, and that's the pattern that we in these days, and we're just enjoying life and enjoying you guys and rocking and rolling with you guys when we can. And we normally tease it here. Sometimes I do it. Last few times I haven't. Tonight's one of those nights. I ain't teasing. Let's get it.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half-Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
And Steppin Marcus J is live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893. Be a part of the flagship show. Heard live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you, everybody who is rocking with us tonight. We appreciate those folks who are checking us out on our live feed on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. We're thanking the folks who are checking out the replays on our Facebook pages, our various Facebook pages, on our YouTube pages, because y'all continue to rock with us. 11 years in, we will continue to roll with y'all. Now, normally on the first side of the tease there, or the music there, you normally would tease what we're going to talk about. I just don't feel like doing that today. Y'all got to just listen and rock with us. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know what we talk about. If it's stuff that's on your mind, by all means, it's probably on ours. And we're certainly open to taking suggestions on topics. If you have something that you want to talk about, as long as it ain't crazy as hell and we actually want to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. If it's crazy as hell, we don't want to talk about it, then we'll just politely, well, it's me. I probably won't be that polite, but we will rock with y'all. That's just me being silly. Let's get in the usual suspects. Of course, you hear our brother and you see our brother rock with us every single week. He sits across the table from me. He's my brother and yours. Say peace to John, y'all.
What's up? Microphone check 1 2. What is this?
yeah, we doing that.
What's
we
going
doing
on?
that. We both doing that. How you doing, man? It's good to see you, man.
It is good to be seen.
Yeah,
it's good to be
man.
seen. It's good to be seen, man. I got
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, what they say in the movie is no place like home.
You click the heels like Dorothy. Yeah.
Three times.
3 times. Yeah.
3 times.
And there's some significance.
Exactly.
There you go.
And not only 3 times, but 3 times. 3 times.
3 times. Now, I got a special shout out that we just got. So let me introduce Steph so that we can all three get some love. So we're gonna get right into it because a special guest is checked in. First of all, let me introduce my sister, your sister. She's co-host of the show. She sits on my right side because she is my right hand. My sister, your sister, John's sister, Steph B. What's up, Steph B? Yay. Say it. Go ahead, say it.
Always forward.
There you
brothers.
go. She said
always forward.
Hey.
Never looking back.
Yeah. So
Can't.
let me get this special guest who just checked in shout it out, and then we'll go back to good evenings, right? So this brother doesn't even live in Richmond, right? But this brother was in Richmond recently, and I just missed him at my favorite watering hole. We saw you, Uncle H, hanging out at the Crocus spot. What's up, man? It's so good to see you checking in here tonight. Minneapolis checking in, snowbirding in Richmond soon, Uncle H. And I saw you posting about you hanging out. That's our spot. And we missed you by a little bit. So we are so sad that we missed you, but we're so glad to know that your feet were on the grounds here in the Cap City, and we got so much love for you. So thank you. Also getting some love from my big cuz who's checking in, my oldest cousin, who loves on me like you wouldn't believe. And I'm so happy Renee Day is checking us out. Thank you. We appreciate it. For those folks who may or may not know, Renee Day is cousin Terry's big sis.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her big sister. Yeah. So thank you. They're my cousins. They're my sisters. So I'm so happy that you are checking us out and enjoying the show with us tonight. John, I stopped you. Going back to your salutations, bro. You were saying that you were glad to be seen.
Yeah, no, it's just, traveling around doing stuff, and like it's good to be home. I mean we might have nuclear war, but that's cool. I ain't necessarily got no problem with that. Gas might go back up to $5 next week. I ain't really got no problem with that. I'm not overly fond of the House of Dragon. Not overly fond of that.
I gotta watch tonight. I gotta watch.
I got mixed feelings about Raising Canaan. So I mean, other than that, the internet is undefeated after the memes with dude punching dude in the face. I can't even get into the memes and the hilarity of that. Internet is undefeated champ and some funny stuff. Yeah, a lot has happened since we've been on, since the last time we've been on. So it's kind of good to get back because I like when I'm away, I'm away. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I really don't deal with that. Like they had problems from that hurricane, so like my phone service was shaky at best. So I really wasn't getting tuned in to anything or listening to anything, and I really didn't care. You know, I mean, it was hot every day outside, and the beach is nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Not a lot to complain about. I can see. I can dig.
I mean, even if I,
You're
even
not
if,
about that life these
yeah,
days.
complain for what?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, it's so ridiculous when you think about it. I was listening to I was something online and it's like they singing some gospel song. I'm not really into gospel music, but as a musician, it has the ability to move me. And it's like it's this song, I forget the name of it, but it basically says I can't complain. I can't complain. When I think about all the stuff that I've in my life, people have a tendency to romanticize things a lot, either the good or the bad. But it seems like the bad stuff, gets a bigger play. It gets a better production budget in people's heads when it's so much good stuff that you take it for granted. Let's start with getting up. Like we could start right there. You woke up,
That's the most important thing.
right? You woke up and check this out. You had your faculties about you. You know how many people get up and want to have organized thoughts and can't because of different things, different diseases and strokes and other conditions and trauma and things that have caused the chemicals in their brain to mess up their thought process? How frustrating and aggravating that must be for a person to want to have clear thought and can't have it. And then if you really lucky enough to be physically well enough to, take care of your own needs, get out of bed, get in the shower, do whatever you do. Everything else from that is, in my opinion, is choice. That's my new mantra.
I can dig that. Ain't no
Make a
has
choice. Choose to be happy.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy in that radio. Shout out to Diamond Love. She's saying hello to us. And she's hearing you and she's agreeing with you, John. She's saying that's so true. So she's rocking with you. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Den. Legacy in that radio. Steph B. What's up, Steph B? How you doing, man? I couldn't even tell you the last time I saw you. Actually, I remember it was last time we was in this room.
Yeah.
You know what? It's been too long.
Too long.
How you been?
I can't complain. I've had a lot happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I called you one day like,
we had to debrief.
We had to debrief.
Hey, look, I've made those calls to you, man.
Yes. And it's
all
appreciated
good.
because some people, I'm a firm believer in the people that you call. Don't always call someone just because you want a cosign or yes, you're awesome. Call people who will offer you resolution, even if it's not what you want to hear. Or even if they don't give you the easy yes. You know what I'm saying? So that was good. Because it wasn't an easy yes, but it was I got you. Let me help.
We don't give each other soft landings.
Nah.
We give each other the real shit.
That's right.
That's
right.
And if that the real shit ends up being a soft landing, then
then you go, right?
Then so be it. So
there's nothing hard about it intentionally. It's whatever needs to be delivered. I always say not just what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
Yep.
So I keep people around that give me what I need to hear.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. That was good. And then the book dropped.
Yeah.
Over the
week. Let's talk about the book.
Yeah. So I wrote a chapter in an anthology. Kind of like I've been wanting to drop a book, but with everything I've had going on and the way my brain works, where there's a million ideas, I needed to test myself first in this environment. And so it's an anthology with 13 other women. And it is called Secure, A Woman's Playbook to Stability. And, I haven't read the other chapters, which I think is exciting because I get to experience the book, for the first time.
Organically, yeah.
Yeah, organically. And for me, it's important because it's a moment of transparency. And that's something I'm really in what I call the year of the perfect 10, 46. I'm practicing transparency. And sometimes I used to read, memoirs or biographies, and I would think, I wonder what their people thought about this.
Yeah.
And I wrote this book without caring about that.
Yeah.
I wrote my chapter really with the intention of, I approached it. I don't know if it's differently than anyone else. I know I have the honor of having a certain position in the book that I'm very proud of, that I'll announce later. But I think for me, it was about being clear on why I was ever insecure.
Right.
A lot of people will come in your space and tell you why they're so dope and why they're so secure and why they're so stable. And I did this and I had that. And I always feel like the person I learned best from is someone who can tell me they went through something. When I had shout out to Minister Tiger Foot from Choice 105.3. He and I were talking, and he was like, every time you're on the radio, it's a masterclass. I almost don't think you should call yourself coach anymore, even though you've earned those accolades, through your education, because everybody's using the title.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate because you have people who have been through nothing coaching someone to go through something. And for me, coaching, I'm certified as a life, career, confidence, entrepreneur, and growth coach. And I've had significant experiences, and I would say with big T and little T trauma, and then small V, big V victories. And so for me, the book was, all right, most of the time what you see or what you visualize, what you hear is someone who is, who is pretty stable. I feel like stability is it's always manifesting itself in different ways. It removes itself from your life, so it forces you to move forward into other things. Sometimes you become unstable because of your own decision making, and you get into that unstable moment and you have to stop and question yourself. So my chapter really was about, okay, what put me here in the first place? Why would I ever have identified myself as insecure? And then when I got to dig deeper and I became a coach. Of course, I went through years of therapy and my own things. I was able to say, okay, well, these are the steps I actually took to attach my life to security, but also to know when I am secure, and not to be uncomfortable when I'm not. When I have a moment where I'm like, this does not feel secure, I go back to my checklist. I'm like, I could go back and say, I'm missing this element, or I haven't done this thing. So really that's what my chapter in the book is about. It's exposing where the insecurity came from, and then the transition to security, and then ending it with an actual checklist for why, for how the same thing can work for you. I'm not special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. It's a lot of pride in that book, for you, for us, and Amanda Edie. Legacy in that radio alumni,
Love Amanda.
who was the leader of that book, and all of you guys that participated. I saw the photo shoot and I was familiar with a lot of you guys, and I was just so happy. And I didn't realize that it was an anthology, and I didn't realize that you each wrote a chapter until just now that you said it. Like, I remember when you guys were all going through the process, but it just wasn't the time for me to know those details. I mean, obviously you guys were doing what you were doing.
We have a documentary following it up.
Yeah, man. See,
that's the dope thing.
That's the kind of thing that I love. Let's get some salutations and we'll talk more about it. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in that radio. All right, so Lee. Shout out to Lee Tolan. Lee is checking us out and says everything is downhill after you wake up. That already the money shot comment of the night. Yeah, Lee. Yeah,
it's gonna be hit or miss.
That's our brother. So mote be, brother. So mote be. Very, very happy to get this salutation from Star Justice Green. She's saying, I know exactly who that is. And my sisters, thank you for rocking with us. That's your family. That's our family. You our family. So peace, Nisi. Yeah. Diamond Love says, thank you. Struggling with that recently. You made a perfect point. So there's definitely some love there. I needed this book 1,000%. We're getting that comment. Star Justice says that I need this book. And it's like more than 1,000, it's like more zeros, but
Well,
I'm
I
not
will
smart
put the
enough to
link
count all
in
the
there if
zeros.
Marcus is okay with it.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'll put a link to
if
my
Marcus
page
is
so
okay.
you can buy. Well,
Really?
I know you are.
Really? You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yes,
no
all
doubt.
pre-orders are signed too.
So,
yeah.
Continuing with our salutations, let's see. Another Legacy Internet Radio alumni is checking us out. We have the career cheerleader.
Hey, I
our
had a
sister,
good time
Cara
with the career
Presley.
cheerleader on
Hey, sis.
Saturday.
You got to hang out with
I
Cara,
did.
man.
We tend to frequent some of
Yeah.
the same outings that are music related. I saw her at Sneaker Fest.
Yeah, man.
And we got to be grown ladies enjoying hip hop
Yeah,
and
man.
a runway show, and we were chilling over there, and I got to have a little Allagash White with her.
I just love her, man.
Yeah, and she got the dope new haircut.
Yeah. Oh, I saw the picture.
Looking real
Get it,
good.
girl. It's just, give us some flowers because every opportunity, not only do we have to spend with her, but to see her move, like she moves very successfully with intention.
She does.
And that's just a joy to see. And it's a community that many of us are a part of where we watch each other move and we just are so proud of one another and we continue to put each other up. And Cara does that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
She does that.
does.
And so we want to make sure that we do that for you. And shout out to Red Table Talk RVA and the podcast and just all the wonderful things that you're doing. So thank you. Let's see. Let's get some more comments in. My brother Damon is checking us out.
What up, D?
Damon is checking us out. He says, "What up, family? Good to see the band back together."
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're definitely glad to put the band.
One band, multiple sounds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I could dig it. We like, I don't know, are we Wu-Tang or we New Edition?
No, we got the same
Are we the
sound. We different
Beatles?
instruments.
That's why I said multiple sounds.
Yeah.
We one sound.
You think we one sound?
Yeah, we got
No.
different tones.
Are we Earth, Wind, and
We got
Fire?
one sound,
So y'all doing
which
that,
is
but I'm going through the band.
always forward, right?
Always forward. Okay.
Right? Make the life you want to live.
Yeah.
Right.
I would
And
think authenticity
has no
competition.
Right.
Yeah.
And me is like, listen, don't start, none won't be.
He would.
There you go.
He would be the one. They don't have to
But that's
have
what.
Marcus
But
J.
listen, that's how it breaks
Listen,
down. Right here in this room, it's like, all that's good. Just don't start nothing.
Yeah.
Don't start nothing. Won't be
I'm trying to
nothing.
see. Cara says, cheering for others as usual is what Cara says.
That's right.
Let's see. Diamond says, "Hi, brother John."
Hey.
And Cara says, "Y'all keep up these dope Monday nights. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate you.
Well,
too.
we would appreciate also if whatever media that you're on viewing us, share it.
Yeah.
Share it.
Yeah.
Let people who browse through and see your media, let them see it so they can get on. So just do the share. Throw the share on
and
there.
It's easy to do because you're sitting there, you're watching, you're listening, and you in it. Y'all rock with us. Like all it takes is just press the button. And a lot of times I'm listening to shows and stuff, and I hear people say that, and when they say it, I generally do it. But then you go back and you look at the page, and it has a small amount of shares. It's like if you rock with us, like if you legit rock with us, then like tell people that you rock with us, and it's.
People, I'll go on my page on Facebook sometime and see all kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't put this up here.
Yeah,
people be tagging me and but you know what? I feel comfortable enough that although it's thousands of people in my Facebook, and I probably know 10% of them like actually know, I feel comfortable that they're pretty for the most part, they're pretty decent people. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty fairly decent people, and they're not gonna do nothing crazy.
Sorry about that.
And if they do, I'll take it down right quick. So, but
Yeah, don't
you
tag
like the
me.
show, share.
Yeah, don't tag me in your stuff.
Yeah. We went through
We
that.
already got it.
Yeah.
Marcus,
Don't tag me.
we
in your
went through
shit.
that. You went off really well.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
You went off
Share
really
it.
well.
Share it. Like, please share it. But like, don't tag me and stuff. You know, have Steph Marcus, J Live from New Dan, Legacy, Internet Radio. Y'all ready to get to the show? Y'all ready to get to the show?
Yes, sir.
And we're moving on.
Yeah. we moving on. All right. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. All right. So let's see what we're gonna do first. You know what we're gonna do first? We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about this controversial new law. Yeah, that's what we
Call it John's Law.
Yeah, you know, it's a controversial
It's John's Law.
It's a controversial law that we're gonna just play a little bit of a clip about this, and then after we play the clip, then we're gonna talk about it. But this one is let's just say it's an interesting thing. Let's get it.
Citizens allowed to shoot police officers who trespass illegally.
Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano is here to break down the new rule. All right, this is going to take place in Indiana.
It is.
What is it?
Well, it's a law that allows people who lawfully own weapons to use those weapons against the police when the police are behaving illegally. For example, police attempting to arrest someone without an arrest warrant, police entering property without a search warrant, police coming into the wrong property, or police actually committing a crime. Now, this was generated by a horrific case in Indiana where the police broke down the wrong door and arrested the wrong person, and he kept trying to say to me, "I'm not the guy you want, it's next door." And the more he resisted, the more they crumbled.
That sounds like the Texas law.
Texas also has a statute that if, for example, they're after Brian Kilmeade, but they arrest Steve Ducey, and he goes, "I'm Ducey, I'm not Kilmeade."
Easy to confuse the two.
Easy to confuse the Ducey can, in Texas, Ducey can use force to resist.
Because I'm not the guy you came to get.
Correct.
I'm confused. So if the cops break down your house and you know that you've done nothing wrong, you can shoot them?
Yes. In the state of Indiana, yes. Well,
What if they have a warrant? If they have a warrant.
If they have a warrant, you cannot. So look, the burden is on you to do the right thing. If you're not sure whether or not they have the warrant, obviously you can't use the weapon. You can't use the weapon to escape from lawful confinement. You can't use the weapon to initiate a crime. You can't initiate the
There's a lot of
confrontation
small print here.
with the police.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Well, this was enacted by the legislature and signed by Governor Mitch Daniels.
But why? It's the first law of its kind.
Hey, you know, I have Steph Marcus J Live from New Den, Legacy, Internet Radio. All right, so let's talk about this one, John. We got that clip directly from Fox News. I cut it right at the end there for some reasons, but we got that right from Fox News, and you know, it's a rare moment that we will play anything directly from Fox News, but here we are. So you were first. What you got?
One, two, okay. I know a lot of people moving to Indiana now. Right? I mean, listen, that was the best move to Indiana slogan of all time. If the police come at you wrong and you're a proud American believer of the Second Amendment, right? You get to shoot them because they wrong. In Indiana, the police are not above the law. They cannot commit crime against you. We laughing, but I'm just
I'm
saying.
laughing at you.
I promise you, that's not
No.
why I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the dialect, bro.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the only one.
Loud.
Yeah. Man.
Nah,
I don't know.
listen.
I don't know if you did that on purpose.
I don't know if I did it on purpose
clearly,
either.
Clearly
It
he didn't.
wasn't.
Clearly he didn't. Man. But you saw us.
It's rubbing off on you.
You been in
The
Virginia a little while, ain't
Southerners.
you? It ain't just me, Mr. 30 years over
Because
here.
I heard it. I was like,
No, but
Your
that-
people's gonna laugh at you when you go home.
listen, I
replay.
no.
The
To go away from that, I was told a long time ago in New York that I had a Southern accent. That's some Charlotte.
Probably.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but
okay.
the whole point I'm saying is, right, like if anybody who's active on social media, you know, every other or every third post you come across is somebody telling the police about the law and what they should be doing and not doing, and reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime being committed, about to be committed, or has been committed. Like we hear that every third post, you get that online now. So Indiana was like, well, yeah. And as a matter of fact, if you kick in somebody's door wrong, if you snatch somebody up with force without a warrant, and you do these kind of things that we prosecute people for, if the person you snatching up happens to be a lawful gun owner, they can shoot you, because at that point you're not a cop, you're a criminal. And that's like the best news I've heard in years. Since Barack Obama got elected the first time, that's the best thing I heard on the news.
Steph,
I don't know.
I got my thoughts on this one. You want first? Or you want me to have it first?
You go ahead.
All right. It's a setup. I mean, it's a setup. Like, if you people sitting around in Indiana think, if you for 1 minute think that you're gonna get away with shooting police in any situation, then hey man, if you get away with it, you pull it off, knock yourself all the way out. Like, knock yourself unconscious. Okay. But I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see how you get away with it. And so, you know, it's a law, but we also know that laws are enacted and they're enforced the way they want to. None of us in this room trust law enforcement. None of us in this room trust the judicial system. So you can look at me quizzically all you want, but you know what it is, just like I do. And it's Indiana and it sounds great and it's Fox News. That's they shit. That's the Fox News people who might get away with this. Them you MSNBC people, I promise you're not getting away with this. And neither are you cable news network people, and neither are those of us who don't care about none of them people. We definitely ain't getting away with that.
So you know how easy it is to prove that you're right. That law was originally passed. The first iteration of it was passed in 2012.
Yep.
The second one, the one that they actually use to this day, was 2015. Indiana has had multiple shootings of Black people in spaces in which they should have defended themselves. So while it sounds like it's about time, I think you're going to experience the same thing you would experience with this stand your ground. You know, stand your ground laws have existed for how long? But they don't, not all laws apply equally to everyone. I mean, the fact of the matter is, things that are written in the Constitution as amendments, which are hard to create and harder to break, are not stood by. So I kind of agree with Mark. I'm just like, it sounds good.
Okay, so I get that. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, we understand how it go. If a white man shoots a Black cop, he can call the law. But if a Black man shoots a white cop, he probably getting a death, then getting a needle. Okay, but the way I feel about it is like, I would rather go to trial than to the funeral home. Right? Let's talk about it at the courthouse. I want to be able to tell my side. See, that's the problem. Dead men don't talk. They don't get to tell their side. The people that's alive get to paint the picture. So if you coming into my house, I'll deal with the consequences, but you ain't gonna tell it.
Yeah, that's the whole.
That's.
I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
But what I'm saying in that is, first of all, most people do not have the capacity to commit murder. Most people, in order for that survival thing to kick in for them to do something, it's usually too late. They've usually have been set upon too heavy before that I'm gonna die. Survival kicks in where they're gonna hurt somebody else. Most people cower. Most people are not aggressive in that fashion, right? So we're not even talking about them. We're not talking about the reality of the how it applies. What I'm talking about and what makes it, and I know it was a little old, but it's new now as far as how it is being distributed for people's attention to have an understanding. All that needs to happen, right, is for those very few who might be subject to violence. Those few who choose, those I wish people, not the hope people, the wish people, just a few wish people enough to do something to make that other cop
Think twice. Is that what it is?
Yeah, just a little bit of, well, maybe I might not want to. Well, maybe like you see, I saw this weekend like 13, no, about 13 instances with cops either disabling, covering, or destroying people's cameras in their homes, going up to the door. And like you see, like you don't, nobody told a cop that the camera feed is live. It's not being recorded, it's live. So I see you, officer, in your uniform. I could even see your badge and stuff. You are destroying the camera. Why? You're covering, policing has gotten to the point where the police officers feel so empowered. They feel so entitled to do whatever they want to do. They don't care about any kind of consequences, none whatsoever. And it's showing itself more and more. I see instances where they tell people, just shut up and do what I say, and curse at people.
Yeah.
And you ask them questions like, no, you can't ask me nothing. And it don't go like that.
It definitely doesn't go that way. I think we've all seen those instances where they cross that line, and you know, the unfortunate reality is that there's very likely not a civilian review where something like that can get put in front of a decision maker that would be serious about disciplining someone that would treat people that way. It has become the norm, and I see you and I agree with that sentiment. Ain't no half step. Marcus J. Live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. Renee Day is checking us out. It's continued. She's saying, wow, I am totally disgusted with these fake people. You're correct, Margaret. It's a setup. Lawlessness has unabounded, and please don't fall for it. I can definitely dig that. Ain't no half step. Marcus J. is happy to shout out our favorite listener who is saying good morning to us. And so when we see that, we respond in kind, and in kind means we look in the camera and we say, good morning, Sue. Yeah, you know, hashtag Marcus J. Live from New Dan Legacy in the radio. As we have homecoming this weekend, which I'll talk more about later, I didn't get to see Sue.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
You know how?
Uh-oh.
You ain't swag. You ain't swag, Marcus.
Oh my God. This dude over here, man. You make me sick. All the way sick. COVID level sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I know vaccine. COVID in March of 2020 sick. Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. Ain't no ass there, Mark said. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody with that. But hey, look, man, if I offended you, definitely listening to the wrong show. Ain't no ass there, Marcus J. Live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. Yeah, Sue says I was in my daddy's hometown. What was your daddy's hometown? Kinston, North Carolina, she says. That's why I didn't see her. Okay, you wasn't here. Whew. Feel better and whatnot. But you know, when you get to travel and you put your boots on the ground of where your family is from, I know that is a good thing. And my guess is you were probably happier there than you would have been here. So I'm happy for you, because that's what you do and that's what we do. Ain't I Steph Marcus J. Live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. All right, Steph, I hear what we're talking about with regards to this. You know, I saw what some of the viewers and listeners are saying with regards to this. And my thought is, I understand what they're trying to do. I get what they're trying to do.
I don't know if I get what they're trying to do.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They one of the things that I have found that politically some folks try to do is they'll try to take a situation that black folks will be screaming about, right? And then they'll try to stick a useless fix in there, knowing that it's useless, so that they can come back and say, well, we was listening to you. We was listening. We can't, like there is none of us, none amongst us, Indianapolis, Indiana, whichever Indy we want to call it, Illinois, 213 or 212, whichever zip code you want to, area code you want to say. There is no place in this country that you will convince me that a civilian, especially a black one, could have a legally owned weapon in their home and shoot a police officer, not even kill him, but shoot him. And they would have a free pass to do it because they was legally allowed to do it based on the circumstances.
Never gonna
You
happen.
will never convince me that there won't be some sort of loophole or some sort of way that they could figure out how they could task this homeowner who's in their home, minding their business, and someone busted in the door, waving the 4-4. I almost went there. I was saying, Papa, don't hit me, though. I said, it's Columbus Day, and the only Christopher I care about is Christopher Wallace. There you go. Yeah. Shout out to the memes. So, all right. Renee Day says, first of all, Sue says she's sorry that she missed homecoming. That just means that we gotta have date night time sometimes, Sue. So we'll have to work that out. Renee Day says, Mark, I meant lawlessness has abounded. It's out of control, is what I mean. So I'm with you. I'm with you, John. Jump in here, bro.
So
Steph,
I was gonna say I don't disagree that the amount of episodes of police with warrants, or even we now know requesting warrants, knowing that they may be going in the wrong place. I mean, some of the things that have come out regarding the Breonna Taylor case over the last 2 months, and I don't disagree.
The hit
that they absolutely. I don't disagree that the law sounds good. I don't even disagree with the part where maybe it'll make someone hesitate, someone in blue hesitate. I just think the law will have. I'm with Marcus. I'm not quite sure the law will have any value to the people who are actually impacted by it. It's a meaningless way to say that they're addressing a major issue. And I think there are major things like reforms that are more important. They just don't want to give them to you.
The only problem I have, let's say I agree with you. We'll just take that. That's a separate thing. I agree with you, right? But I'll say this, and it's been my stance. We can go back 2 years. I think I've been doing this with Marcus. Until wow, not sitting in the car, not going to get coffee or whatever, until police, while engaging in this type of criminal activity that they often engage in, are injured or killed, nothing will ever change. We can talk reform all we want. They could pass laws all they want. You could do all of that. I'm telling you, until a cop kicks in the wrong door at the wrong time and is met with gunfire to their death, we'll never see a change, because it's not a reality to them until that happens. They have no point of reference to alter their behavior. That's why I said maybe they'll think about it now, because it's out there. People know about it now, right? Because of the internet. But until they run up on a car, right, messing with somebody about something and get shot up and dead, and it all comes out that they was dead in the wrong when they was doing what they was doing, nothing's gonna change because it's not the reality. The same reason why kids are killing each other crazy over rap songs and blocks that they don't own, right? Because the reality is not there. They have been desensitized, just the way the youth in the urban areas have been desensitized to the loss of life. The police have been desensitized to the sufferings of the people they're sworn to protect and serve, right? Is a line has been drawn for quite a long time since the inception of policing in this country. The line is drawn that either you're a cop or you're a perp, right? And if you're a perp, forget about rights. You don't have no rights. I'm right because I'm the cop and I got the gun. So I'll get to do with you whatever I want, and I will be backed by my fellow police, and everybody in the legal system will back me forever, no matter how wrong I am, no matter how much crime I commit. So until they realize that their lives are in jeopardy, nothing is going to change.
Ain't no hat Steppin, Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. Let's get some love for the coach is checking us out. Peace to our brother Sean Miz, Legacy in that radio alumni. He's saying, what's good, El Capitan? El Capitan was the nickname that our show Twi After Dark gave me, as I used to produce that show when we were in the original Den of Legacy in that radio. And Twi After Dark was one of the highest rated shows that we had on Legacy in that radio. So I was always very, very proud of that, and very proud of the nickname that our brother, the coach, our sister Bella, and our sister and our sister Kilolo, all aliases gave me on that show. El Capitan, I'm very, very proud of that name, and thank you, brother, for rocking with us. I hadn't heard that in a long time, so obviously it touched me a little bit. So peace to you and our sisters. Shout out to our brother Reynaldo. He always drops a jewel on us whenever he's with us, and whenever we get something from him. So let's go ahead and get it. Like giving federal employees a paid day off and say they are doing it for us Juneteenth, when we were asking for reparation and police reform. So this is what he thinks of this particular law here. Our sister Tamisha is saying, good evening, everyone. And yes, I love it. So we appreciate you as well. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love the fact that Legacy Internet Radio alumni supports me and you guys in this show. And we're getting some love right now from our brother Aaron Turner of the Aaron Turner Show, who is also checking us out and saying hey to us. Hey guys, is more specifically what he is saying. So I appreciate you all, everybody who's rocking with us. The message board is jumping tonight, and that is very, very pleasing to us. Phone lines are also open at 804-402 2893. That's the number to dial if you want to rock with us. We will, in fact, roll with you. So, Steph, I think now is the time for me to say it for the very first time, my corny line, when it's time for us to get to the next thing. And we look into the camera. We quote one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time. Love's Gonna Get You, because it's so true. But one of my favorite parts of that song is when they say, let us move on. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I trade off being on corny, y'all. I'm corny. I'm the corniest dude you know. Yeah, and I tell myself in the mirror, you fly, you fly, you fly. You got to keep doing it, right? Tell yourself.
You gotta love you first.
Tell yourself, you fly, you fly, you fly. Now you ain't gotta do the corny little joke and dance and bop that I do. That's my thing, you know. But you can do it your own way. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy in the radio. All right, 804-402 2893, number to dial. You want to rock with us? We shall roll with you. All right. So let's see what is next on the agenda. Oh, all right. So I'm not really sure how this next piece is gonna go, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. We're gonna keep with police in this conversation, right? We're gonna keep with policing. And what we're gonna talk about in this next piece is the shooting of the young man in San Antonio, Texas. Have y'all heard about this?
A mess.
Have y'all heard about this, man? All right, so this is the deal, right? San Antonio, Texas. Here you have First of all, the district attorney finally decides he's going to announce the name of the officer.
Yes.
Who shoots 17-year-old in a McDonald's police
Oh
department.
yeah, he was eating the food
in the car.
and then he shot him 5 times. Then he drove away. He shot him some more on the way out.
I'm gonna read the story.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir. Yeah. he like, God damn it, that's crazy. I can't believe this shit. I can't take it.
I need to say it now.
I want to do it right now. Yeah.
Taking too long for me to be
Let's
mad.
get to it, Jack.
No, I just wanted to make sure I had the
This
right
a thunder
story.
stealing dude right here, boy.
I'm sorry, man.
That was your uncle.
That's a Thor
You know how
level
you got
stolen.
one of those uncles that'll do that to you?
That's Thor level stolen thunder right there. Like, give me your thunder.
We going to see the movie tonight.
That thunder you got?
Give it
I feel it.
Hold on. We going to see the movie tonight. Now don't go see that because when you find out that the uncle killed her,
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no reason to watch it. What you gonna watch it for? The uncle killed her. And you sitting there like,
Okay.
but
I did want to go see
and
that.
then you be like, but you ain't know the uncle killed her.
I love it.
Oh man, I love this, man. This is shit I miss, man. I love this because this is what we do. All right,
my God.
so everything he said is the story.
They might have been something.
It was. I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna read all of it, but I'm gonna read enough for us to get us properly set up. John, you're a good sport for letting us pick on you. All right,
Yes.
so the Texas police officer who shot the 17-year-old while he was eating a meal at McDonald's parking lot has been named, and the young man has continued to be in critical condition. The Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez said in a statement, the officer's name is James Bernard, described by the police department as a probationary officer with 7 months of experience, and he was fired for violating the agency's tactics, training, and procedures. Bernard shot Eric Cantu, who was initially charged with evading detention in a vehicle and assaulting the officer, as Bernard had claimed he was struck by the door of the car as the teen backed up. Quote, while Sunday's shooting of an unarmed teenager by a then San Antonio police officer remains under investigation, the facts and evidence we have received so far led us to reject the charges against Eric Cantu for further investigation. Once San Antonio Police Department completes the investigation and the actions of the former officer and submits the case to our office, our Civil Rights Division will fully review the firing as we do in all officer. I don't even want to talk about that shit anymore. All right, so I want to talk about the important part. Quote, Eric is on, yeah, and I threw shade at Cable News Network and their article just because I want to get to the heart of the matter. Eric is currently on life support system that keeps his lungs operating. He remains a vast amount of sedatives, hopefully to keep his pain and discomfort at a minimum. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we can get to the part where it actually tells the details of what happened, because the aftermath of all of this is not so much what I want to get to. So I'm multitasking, trying to read this as I am talking to you guys. But basically, what we have here is body camera. Let's see, body camera released by the police shows the officer walk up to the driver's side, open the door, order the driver out, visibly startled teen who was in the driver's seat eating, put the car in reverse and started backing up. Brevard then opened fire 5 times on the car, according to the video, as the driver shifted the vehicle to move forward. Body camera video showed the officer opening fire an additional 5 times as the car drove away. The police said the teen was found a block away with gunshots. The police says it was investigating the incident, will forward the findings, blah, 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 blah. The part that does not seem to be captured here, that is a part of this story, is that this particular officer and this particular victim had heat before, where the officer had pursued this kid before unsuccessfully. And so there apparently was a warrant against this young man. And this particular officer was the officer who had direct contact with him before. So he sees him. He's like, oh, there you go right there. You know what I mean? There you go. And that's when he walks up
Called
on
for
him.
backup, but engaged him with
and still engages him, Mr. 7 months. Now, I watch a television show called The Rookie.
Me
and
too.
and
My
John Nolan would never do that.
Never the time.
John Nolan
So-
don't move
Especially
like
not
that.
T.O. John
He
Nolan.
is now a training
He's now
officer.
a training
Girl,
officer.
did you see his new
She's a
trainee?
mess.
She is a whole mess.
She gonna
And
get him
she
fired.
might have been somebody who might have done
She
this.
would've done this.
First of all, you
In
need
Aura. She would have picked up in Aura.
to watch The Rookie, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you don't watch The Rookie, watch The Rookie. Did you see The Rookie last week, the pregnant episode?
Yes, I
We need to talk about the pregnant
Love it.
episode. Yeah, we need to talk about that. All right.
Nyla.
So Nyla is one of the greatest characters ever created for television.
Yes.
Uh,
She is what I picture most black
what's-
women
what's-
police
what-
officers
what's-
would
what's-
be like.
What is her name and for real? Because I want everybody to
I don't know.
Google
You look that earlier.
Nyla Harper is her name on the show. And John, I'm gonna get into real serious shit in a minute. But once you defer to The Rookie, Makia Cox, that's her name.
Yeah,
Makia
she's dope.
Cox.
She's
Look
dope.
up The Rookie. All right. Let's
Yeah,
go
I
on
just watched
to
it
I
before
think-
I came
to the real thing.
I think that
This particular story.
I think part of what you said is not exactly accurate.
Share.
Last I heard,
Share.
he wasn't the kid. It was another kid. It was a different car.
Okay.
So he thought, the policeman thought that was who he was looking for, but
Okay.
indeed it wasn't who he was looking for.
All right.
And there was a warrant for a different suspect, not that young man.
Okay.
So
I'll go ahead and look
They
to see.
are charging. They have dropped charges as well
against
of
this young
evading
man.
or
but
evading arrest and
that
arrest.
was
So was
in
this young-
that evasion, that charge
That's
existed because of what happened
right.
that
That's
day.
what I'm saying.
Right.
The fact
There
that
is
they
no-
dropped
yeah,
it
there's no
tells
previous
you
charge,
there's
yeah.
nothing previous.
That's
right.
the way they had told the story. So that must be
Yeah.
an addendum to it.
Yeah, that was the thing. And it ties itself to another situation,
In
right?
San
Which
Antonio?
no, this was in Virginia. And I
Okay.
think upstate in Virginia, near DC.
Upstate.
Yeah, that's listen.
Northern. Don't be using upstate
Listen,
for them
listen,
to get
listen,
mad and say
listen,
you trying to change things
Listen,
about VA.
listen.
He one of those people that spells New York YAWK.
It's listen. It's Brooklyn. It's just
Downstate
what it
New
is.
Jersey.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's South Jersey.
We roasted
It
you.
was
we roasted you tonight.
it was
man.
the
Just-
outskirts.
We're
just-
glad you came
How
back.
about this? The outskirts of the DMV is where it
The
was.
outskirts of the DMV.
the outskirts. We
So
gonna go
a
with
woman-
that
Mad
one.
about that too, though.
So a woman with her newborn child got ran into and boxed in by police cars and drug out and handcuffed and all this because they thought they saw a car that was involved in a high-speed chase with an armed assailant, and it wasn't the place, wasn't the car, nothing was wrong, nothing. And this woman and her 6-day-old child, she had just got out the hospital with the child. So
I
again,
cannot.
this goes back to the just, I don't know. I can only say I would like to blame it on Trump, but they've been like this. Somebody really needs to let them know that y'all. I mean, well, until they not, I guess they are. Like I was gonna say somebody need to tell them they not running ish, but they are.
I want to say something so we don't move too far away from the Eric Cantu thing because there was nothing that was done in that moment. Even if you thought he evaded you, officer, a day ago, it still wouldn't be a terminable offense. It's not an offense that someone should end up dead for. So to approach him in the parking lot, and I really hate trauma videos, but when you see this, the way that he approached him, he immediately opened the door, and there's not a lot of time between him opening the door and then him shooting this young man and then chasing the car
Seconds.
and shooting
Seconds.
him
Yeah.
in an open parking lot where other people could be at risk. John Oliver, I challenge people to watch Last Week Tonight on HBO. It is a well done version of punditry.
Satire. Yeah.
It is news. He delivers the news and he really breaks it down. And one of the things that I really liked that he ironically was talking about today was two things that I thought was interesting. One, how many news stations read a police story that is new simply from from a news release from the media release for the police. So they take the police media release, they read it exactly on the news, no questions asked. And so they used George Floyd as one of them. And the George Floyd, the Minneapolis police, originally their news release to the press that was used on the news that night was man experiences medical episode during arrest. We all know now that that was not what occurred. And so John Oliver really hit something that's very important here. Right now, the news is spending a lot of time on law and order, right? Every time you turn around, crime is up, crime is up, crime is up. When you go and you break it down, something that he points out very significantly and relevantly is that the news makes more money when they're reporting crime. It turns more heads. And there were some news stations that 50% of what they were doing was crime. As a matter of fact, a producer said he tells the cameraman that back in the day when they did Eyewitness News and the two news shows in New York, go out and he's like, you got 20 seconds. All you need is get a shot of the body, get a shot of the blood, get a shot of the scene, and come back. This is the thing that motivates people. This is the thing that motivates the messaging. And what John Oliver makes a very good point about is a lot of the time when you receive the story immediately on the news is being driven from the point of the police without media having done their job. Well, here we are. The initial story about Eric Cantu that hit the news totally misrepresented the fact that this man literally walked up to the car, spoke at the same time that he opened the door, shocked the young man just in doing that, because who opens your car door when you're sitting in a parking lot eating your McDonald's, right? And then lies about it, even though his body cam is running. And his original story is he hit me with his car door. You do not see that on the body cam. It is not attested to. He never says it during the attempted arrest. All of these things, when they talked about defund the police, I'm a person that believes in the understanding of semantics is important. I often say I want to do a little 5 minutes every now and then on my show called Semantics with Steph, because it matters. The meaning, the word, and the usage. And we got into this whole defund the police, and your messaging got lost. And it took away the power of the truth of the message, which is police are overly funded. You have a small town police officer down in a tiny town in Alabama that John Oliver also reported on. And he talks about how the budget for that town through arrests for traffic tickets was 692% higher. In a town of 1,200 people, 692% higher. Basically, arresting people. They said there would be an average of $493 worth of tickets for every man, woman, and child in that town. And the police actually had to direct traffic on court day in this tiny town. And what they found was they were using this very small town by 2 new canines, a SWAT team, a fleet of unmarked cars, things that they don't even need. And so when people got out with the messaging of defund the police, one of my biggest challenges to them, and I would love to have someone who's fighting that messaging, one of my biggest challenges is understanding semantics and realizing that there is a necessity for law and order. There is a necessity. If I walk out to my car, it's been broken in, I want something done about it. Do I think something's going to be done in the city of Richmond? Likely not. In the city of New York? Absolutely not. Bigger things to do, right? But I want something done about it. I think that I should be able, as a law-abiding citizen, as a woman who often worries about being able to protect myself, although I'm legally licensed to carry and do and will, I still think that there is a necessity for policing. But what I have a problem with is improper policing. So I'm not saying defund. I'm saying don't send them for the wrong things. I'm saying don't overextend their budget for military and militarized weaponry. There are areas that we could really be speaking about. But because the language of defund is used, and then you leave the messaging on the table for some crazy Republican to pick up, just like they picked up woke and changed the messaging there. When you put a message out, you have to control the narrative. That is the way speech works. When you put the message out, if the message is intended to hit ears the right way, you got to control the narrative. We see why a rookie police officer should not have been out there making these decisions, but funding allows it. So I truly do say we don't need to talk about defund the police, but we definitely need to talk about redirecting the funds that are pushing this type of behavior.
You know, I have Steph Marcus, Shay Live from New Den Legacy Internet Radio. I think language is important. I think defund the police is terrible verbiage for the message that the people who say that defund the police actually have, because I think the message that defund the police is closer to what you just said: reappropriate, reassign, look at what the situation is, put money where it needs to
Remove
get to
some of the
go,
funding.
remove it from where it is and put it someplace else. But when you say defund the police and then you just leave it as that blanket statement, it lends itself to unnecessary opposition without any
Sure.
dialogue. Ano Hastel Marcus J Live from New Den Legacy Net Radio. Let's get some comments. And the legal. Our sister Tamika Robinson is checking us
Hey,
out.
sis.
And she jumped in and she says, "Not the rookie. That's my show. Hey, fam. Hey, look."
Yes.
And then she said what I think we all know if we watch the rookie. If you watch the rookie, you know what Tamika said is absolutely golden.
What's that?
She said, Nyla Harper, well, not the name, but that's her name. Nyla is the epitome of black girl magic and motherhood. Her labor and delivery was badass.
It
and
really
it
was.
absolutely was. I won't recap it. You probably should just, not this week,
Go watch it.
but watch last week's episode of The Rookie. If you want to see not just a 9 months pregnant woman, but I'm having a baby today pregnant woman.
I'm having a home birth.
I'm having a home birth
right now.
right now. Not only did she have a home birth, but she solved the neighborhood crime in the most badass Rambo style way.
Yeah, really
You saw the Rambo part, right? You know the part I'm talking
the part I
about.
like the
Yeah,
most.
everybody like that part. So yeah, go and watch The Rookie. Clearly, Tamika's probably seen it as well, because if she
all
has
the people who are fans of, now as much as we have these conversations, I love Law and Order style TV.
I do. Most of my favorite television shows are police shows. Like East New York, already
SVU.
watched. It's terrible, but I'm gonna watch it because they got a black captain. But the show, I watched one episode. It's already terrible.
My sister's featured in that.
Yeah,
In the pilot.
Yeah, we have to go back and see if we can catch her.
I'm
But
up in the air.
yeah, I mean, I watched it. It's terrible. Already. Shout out to our brother Coach Reggie Ship. He's saying salute to the family. And he wanted to make the point of saying it's Nova, not upstate, fam. I think
somebody was gonna jump in there.
I think we've already established that. We had a little fun with John. Shout out to one of the funniest men I know, and one of my favorite people from Jersey City, New Jersey, my brother Iman Ali is checking us out. And this brother is someone that I've known probably my entire adult life, and wonderful, wonderful person, family man, and just a great brother, man. I appreciate you rocking with us, bro. Let's see. Renee Day says, I enjoyed the show, you guys. Peace out. She's leaving us for the evening. Appreciate you for being with us for as long as you could, big cuz, and thank you. Kiss them grandbabies for me. Coach Ship says that's typical police behavior. They will lie quickly, and the media love the narrative of blacks as criminals. Ronaldo says, is the officer being charged with murder? Because if not, you or I did anything like this weird, we'd be locked up. There wasn't a murder.
They're looking for attempt.
There wasn't a murder. He's still alive. Shout out to my brother Thomas. He said that was a good episode. And then Coach Ship says it should take longer than 3 months for an officer to hit the streets.
Agreed.
It should take a minimum of a year because they know that it takes longer for them to learn the laws. It takes a lawyer 4 years plus to get a law degree.
And I think it would
That's
take
it.
longer for them to get over the fear that they inherently have.
I don't think that that's going away.
It never goes.
Yeah.
The sad part about this is no one ever wants to have the conversation. Here's a real simple conversation. The 10 soldiers, the regular police guys, they're not supposed to be effecting arrest. They're visual deterrents, right? Detectives affect arrests after warrants have been issued by judges, right? When there's some reason to believe that a crime has been committed. That's how the legal system works. But you have these yahoos out here, 10 soldiers, no colors on their badge, running around acting like it's a television show, trying to create crime so that they can go back to the house and spend the rest of the day doing paperwork and get some overtime. That's what it's about. They don't want to be out in the street acting as a visual deterrent. They don't want to observe and then report. They don't want to have to see something happening, keep an eye on it, get on the radio, call if a civilian is not in immediate physical observable danger, call it in, get somebody else out there, figure out what's going on, and then have someone effect an arrest after a warrant is issued. They don't want to do that. They want to be judge, jury, and executioner in the street, and they get rewarded for it. See, the behavior isn't as much the issue as people being rewarded for it, right? Hard statistics, right? Hard criminal justice, hard statistics, right? White folks in America commit 70% of the crime, right? Black folks in America commit about 20% of the crime, right? Most of the so-called serious crimes, felonies, and violent crimes are committed disproportionately by white people. Most black people crime, that 20%, more than half of that is trespass. I mean, is the slave laws. Is why they created the police department.
Loitering.
Loitering, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. All that is slave law.
Everything's super easy,
right?
To move around with.
Now, here goes the thing: white people commit 70% of the crime. They're approximately 50% of incarcerated people. Right? Black people commit 25%, 20% of the crime. They're 35% of the incarcerated. So black people are much more prosecuted and receive much more jail time. But we understand that. But this is not what we're talking about, unfortunately, right? It's all about money, right? They got to keep the system going. A lot of the smaller towns, the judges own pieces of the jails that they send the people to, and the black people are they fishing, they fishing in you know those ponds, they create the pond, they bring the fish in and put them in the pond so people could catch.
Yeah,
that is urban. That's the urban environment. They get all the black people together in a thing, and then they send in they fishermen, they police to catch the fish, and then they send them to the market and they profit off of them. This is policing in America, right? And this guy should have never been given a gun. You can't tell me that you could not ascertain before he was given the gun and authority to use it that this dude was a problem. They wanted him in the street. They wanted him to do what he did. And the idea, we all sit around and like we want it so bad to be not that way. But that's the way it is. This shit is deliberate. It's planned and executed. It's not happenstance, right? If you hear about it, know somebody planned it. It's no random anything. All this is deliberate execution of black folks for exploitation and for profit. And until we deal with it that way, it is not going to change.
Ain't no has Steppin Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in that radio. Our brother, Coach Reggie Ship, says, I totally agree with you, Brother John. Y'all will be on that island alone because I don't agree with y'all. I think it's carelessness. I think it is a system. I think it's reckless and irresponsible to say that they hire people specifically to kill people. I think that's reckless. I think that's not only reckless, I think it's irresponsible. I think they hire people to get people on the force. I don't think they specifically hire people so that they can go out and kill people. I just don't think I don't believe that.
What if I gave you statistics and facts to back it up to support it?
I would have to
still not believe it?
I would have to vet it. I mean, you know, I'd have to vet it and I have to review it and I have to make my own decision. But my 48 years of life, most of which I've spent in activism, has led me to believe that they do not hire people for the sole purpose of going out and killing people.
That is the
I think
that's the
I
profile
think I think they hire people who lack experience, who lack the kind of character. I think they hire people who are far too aggressive and zealous and overzealous. But do they specifically hire people so that they can specifically go out and kill people and harass people? I think that's reckless to say that. I think it's irresponsible to say that. And I think that it is the opposite of what they're doing. It's the other end of the spectrum. I think statements like that are unnecessarily aggressive towards the law enforcement. Not in the sense that we are trying to placate them, because obviously we're not doing that. But I don't think that it's an obvious thing that they go in and say, all right, I'm gonna hire this dude because I know that he looks like he would kill people. Like I think that while I think we can be aggressive in our positions against the system without saying reckless stuff.
Okay. One, I love you. Full stop.
You ain't got to do that, but I love you too. But okay, you don't have to say that before you come for me.
No,
let's get it.
But I'm not gonna come for you.
Okay,
because what you said is right, and what you said proved my point. Right? Because what you did was run down the characteristics that lead to somebody who will pull open a door and shoot a 17-year-old 10 times.
It's different than what you said.
But you
it's different than what you said.
It's the same. Because
tell me why it's the same.
Because it's like this. Okay, let's say I got 7 things on a list, and I know with these 7 things, this is what I'm going to get at the end, right? When I'm hiring people and I'm checking off my list, once I get to 5 out of 7, I circle it and go hire that guy. Now you said, oh no, they didn't hire somebody who's going to go out and kill somebody, but they hired somebody.
That's not what I said.
Yes, you did. You said they hired somebody who may not.
I said they're not going to hire somebody for the sole purpose of them going out killing people.
Then you said,
because that's what you said.
But then you said, but I do believe they hired, and you ran off about 4 things:
irresponsible,
boom,
reckless,
boom.
Yeah, I said that.
Murderer.
Okay,
it
I mean,
equals.
If that's your takeaway,
but this is why I said I love you, because what I said, you said my language was too aggressive towards law enforcement, and I believe it's not aggressive enough, because as long as we give them the space to operate, right, the space that you offered them in your magnanimous, genuine good nature. You offer them the space, but you prove my point, because you don't give guns to reckless people. You don't give guns to irresponsible people. You don't give the authority of life and death of others to those people. And if you did it deliberately.
While that is a very fair statement, you know, and you can pull all of the statistics and charts and all of the stuff that you want to pull, but we know that the instances of interaction between law enforcement and people is so vast that if we really want to play the percentage game, not just in our community, but just in general, the percentage of interaction versus violence is small.
That's
Now,
because
but
people are not.
hold on, I'm
Okay,
not
go ahead,
finished.
go ahead.
Not finished.
Go ahead.
There are certain jobs where I'm gonna kind of need you to be perfect at your job. Doctor, airline pilot, you know what I'm saying? Police officer. And we know that there's no perfection. We know there isn't. Planes crash, patients die. But there are certain jobs that you have that I'm gonna need you to be perfect. And police officer, when you roll up on me, I'm gonna need this to not end in my death. And so while I understand what you're saying, I think it's reckless and irresponsible to say that they, and I'm gonna be very clear about this so that we can debate it.
Okay.
I think it is reckless and irresponsible to say that law enforcement hires people for the sole purpose of going out and harassing and killing people. That to me is what you said, and I think that's irresponsible. Now, we can talk about how they hire people who have no business with badges and how they hire people who are reckless and irresponsible, who do reckless and irresponsible things that ends up in the deaths of people. We can talk about all of that. But if we talk about how, yes, I think this guy might kill somebody, let's hire him, because that's what it sounds like you're saying. And I think you're about to double down on it. And so, fine, if that's what you if that's what you think, cool. That ain't what I think, and I think that's reckless and irresponsible to say it.
Okay. And this is why I don't know if I'm a double down, but I
Yeah,
might.
you about to.
But I might.
So just own the shit.
No,
You about
no,
to
no,
double
no,
down.
no, but listen,
really?
Listen.
I don't
I'm
know.
listening.
I'm gonna.
Come on.
I'm gonna.
You
I'm
gonna
gonna
preface it by saying I'm not, and then you about to
I
do
said
it.
I don't know. I didn't
Okay.
say I not. I said I don't
Okay.
know.
We're
gonna find out.
Let's
Yeah,
get
yeah,
comments.
please,
Let's
yeah.
get comments in first because they coming. They coming. Don't lose your train of thought.
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right. So and all of y'all, some of these comments I'm gonna put them on the screen, and some of them I'm gonna read. So like Uncle Late says, how was white supremacy maintained? I think that's probably rhetorical. Let's see, and don't judge me, but my eyesight is poor, and half the time I can't see what's in front of me. So the screen is hard, y'all. Just bear with me. Ronaldo says, why does former military get pushed to the top of the hiring list for all police departments? Because it's less people, it's less training they got to give them. I mean, that's an easy one. You can do what you want to do with that answer. But that's the answer. You ain't got to train military people like you got to train a layperson. That's why they do it.
You don't even have to change the mindset.
Yeah,
but
you ain't got to change mindset. That's why. So, like I said, you do what you want with that information. But that's the answer. Let's see. You need to watch the series based on the Baltimore Police Department. I watched it. It was boring as hell.
You didn't like
I know it was boring as hell. I didn't get past the second episode. It's boring. I get the point because I know the story.
Sure.
The show was boring. My brother, Samodi B, my brother Daquan says, awesome point, brother. Appreciate you as well. So I think I got those comments in, and my brother, go ahead and make your point.
First thing I want to do, I want to separate individual officers from policing, right? Because you have an institution and you have individuals who are part of the institution for whatever reasons they choose to be a part of the institution, right? And it doesn't always fall on them, right? Policing is designed and applied specifically for doing harm to black people. They don't have another purpose for it. That's the only purpose for it. So when they hire police officers and they do the psychological profile on what, and they give these tests and ask them questions on the test, based on their score, they determine who they're going to hire. And based on the things that you said about, will they hire irresponsible people? Obviously. Will they hire reckless people? Obviously. That's who they look for. Now, then they get, because of what you said, they get plausible deniability. They get to say, no, we're not hiring people who want to hurt people. But but you check mark the psychological profile of people who are subject to hurt people. You put your finger on the scale. If I tell you that you stand a better chance to win in the lotto, right? If three of the numbers you pick every time is 3, 7, and 12, you're going to pick 3, 7, and 12. This is what they do. They're hedging their bets with the people that they hire. And of course, the vast majority of interactions between police and the public are not violent because cops are like everybody else. I said it earlier. Most people are not violent. Most people shy away from violence. I've seen not as many, but I've seen quite a few videos where police would have been justified in discharging their weapon and doing other things, and they didn't. Right? Those don't get the kind of highlights because they don't sell the ad space like the cop killing the unarmed black man, right? But it happens. So I'm not trying to condemn police officers. What I am saying though, however, that it is not an accident that we get police like the one who shot that kid. That is a deliberate effort made by law enforcement, made by the criminal justice system to continue to feed this multi-billion-dollar program in the country, right? It's a known, they spend approximately $80,000 a year to house an individual in prison. If you gave the nonviolent people half that amount of money to stay out of jail, they would never go to jail and they would spend the money in the economy and grow the economy at large. But you wouldn't have a judge sitting on his ass for 50 years making money off the prison that he built. Right? So these things to try to have the rose glasses on when we're talking about the evil.
Literally?
Yeah. Nah, excuse me.
Literally?
Nah, figuratively.
I literally have
didn't-
rose-colored glasses on today.
but
I think
my-
you just
my-
took a shot at me.
no, I
Stan.
didn't. I didn't even.
Yeah.
My point is, right?
This will be the last point on the
my-
topic
my-
because
my-
we're going to
my-
move
my-
on.
My point is, again, I'm the dumbest guy I know.
Well,
And if I can
well,
understand, if I can
well,
understand,
well,
if I can
well.
understand these things, then the people who are in charge of these institutions understand these things well. That's why this is why I stand on that it is deliberate. They meant to do it. It's part of their process. And when a cop kills an unarmed person, it was predicted to happen. They wanted it to happen. And this is why they hired the people they hired.
And you know, I have Steph Marcus share live from New Dan Legacy Net Radio. I mean, I understand the point you're making. I don't agree with it. I think there's a difference between collateral damage and intention. And I think the situation that we're dealing with is collateral damage. And collateral damage, we know, hey, oh well, you died. I don't care. It's just what I do, and you just happen to die. I think it's more likely that than the sinister intention of I'm gonna hire this dude because I know he's gonna kill somebody. And that to me is where we disconnect, and that's fine. We're gonna always disconnect on that. There'll be other times for us to debate it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and that radio. Steph, I want you in prominently on this next topic, mostly because it is a political topic that touches on our community quite firmly. And this is the Senate race in Georgia between former football player Herschel Walker and current sitting Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock. Now, this is one of those situations where, yeah, I'm probably gonna catch some heat for this one. I'm gonna catch some heat on this one. So let me just, I'm gonna say my piece on it, and then Steph, I want you to say your piece, and then John will follow you. And if there's round table left, then so be it. If not, then we'll move on. But here is a prime example of how white people will choose any black person to put in front of other white people to say, this is our black person. It doesn't matter the credentials of the person he's going against. This is our black person. This is who we want you to support. This is how white people will show you that they are supportive of black people and black issues. This is how white people will often clear their conscience by saying, I support this black man. I'm not a racist. How dare you accuse me of such? And become very indignant at the mere suggestion that they might be a racist. We know you, white people. Those white people, we know y'all. We know y'all so well. We've been seeing y'all our whole lives. We are not confused by you. We are not blinded by you. We know exactly who you are. How do we know who you are? It's because we know who Herschel Walker is. We've always known who Herschel Walker is. All we got to do is look at him. All we got to do is listen to him. All we got to do is know his bio. Then you look at the Democrat. And for me, it don't matter blood or cuz. I don't give a fuck about y'all politics. I really don't. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, it might have been different. This Marcus J today, I don't give a fuck about your politics. Blood or cuz. I don't care. I don't care. I've been independent my entire adult life. My entire adult life. Now I'm very prominent in my verbiage with regards to my independence. And when you look at the Georgia race, this is the reason why I'm independent. Now, I don't got a dog in this race, but I ain't stupid. And on a national level, I guess if you buy into the political landscape, I guess on the national level, you do have a dog in the race when you look at the numbers, blood on one side and cuz on the other. That's Democrat and Republican for those who don't know. Blood is the red, cuz is the blue. But really, honestly, Herschel Walker, he is inarticulate. He presents as unintelligent, and you know he's lying. How do you know he's lying? Because he's talking. He's talking. That's how you know he's lying. And his own family don't rock with him. His own family comes out and tells you that he's a shitty person. And on the other hand, you have Reverend Raphael Warnock. Now, Reverend don't mean a whole lot to some people, and it don't mean nothing to me unless you show and prove that it means something to you. It means something to me by how you present yourself as a reverend. So let's talk about Reverend Raphael Warnock. Okay. He leads the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. For those who may not know what church that is, that's the church that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led at the time the United States government shot him in the face. Yeah. The United States government shot him in the face. Yeah. In that part too. You know what I'm saying? So Herschel Walker is the guy who is running neck and neck against the sitting senator, the state of Georgia. And we're supposed to believe that they're even. Now, in the polls they are, but we're supposed to believe they're even when statistically, that's the word. When Herschel Walker came right out and told you, I don't know if I should debate with them. They only want me to debate so that they can make me not look smart. And I'm paraphrasing, but that they want me to not look smart. Like, really, what person you know that's running for a national office? We ain't even talking about dog catching in Chesterfield County. We talking about national office senator who does not want to debate because he got shade with the person for thinking that they're going to try to make him not look smart. Herschel Walker, come on. Herschel Walker, though, for real, I honestly, I have been very clear and open about how January 6th and other issues around that time changed me. But politically, my view of the United States political scene changed. First of all, it changed when you motherfuckers elected Donald Trump. First of all, when y'all did that, I was like, yeah, I can't rock with y'all. But then when y'all sat there and listened to this man send these people to the Capitol and people died that day and they broke in and they was shitting on the floor and tearing up the Speaker of the House stuff and was going for the vice president, y'all sat there and y'all tried to act like it wasn't that big of a deal. I was done with you political people that day. That's why I move different. That's why I speak different. That's why I'm not the dude that you heard on this show years ago. I don't care like I used to because they don't care. They don't care. So I look at this, it's more of a tongue-in-cheek thing for me. Because I'm like, word, for real? Y'all want to have Herschel Walker lead you. Why? So that he could be in a little room and they could have a little microphone telling him what to do that he won't be able to understand anyway because he ain't smart enough? Really? Herschel Walker? Herschel Walker, like the United States people, not just in Atlanta and in Georgia, but the United States people, if you were confused about how white people take black people and prop them up in ways that they can use and benefit them, this is a prime example. And Malcolm X said it 50 years ago. No, damn it. He's been gone 50 years. He's been gone more than 50 years. He's been gone since 65. That's 57 years ago. So 60 years ago, Malcolm X told us, if white people want to talk to black people, they'll find a black person to say that shit for them. That's it. That's it. And Herschel Walker is that dude. And he ain't smart enough to be embarrassed about how he's being treated. He ain't smart enough. He's so dumb, he don't want to go and debate because he don't want to be made to look dumb. For real? You running for senator. The United States Senate, it's only 50 of you people. United States Senate, and you scared to debate because you're afraid to look dumb? Really? And he's tied statistically? He could be running against Mickey fucking Mouse, and he shouldn't be tied statistically. And I won't vote for Mickey, he ain't a brother. How about Huey Freeman? How about I vote for him? You know what I'm saying? So this right here is an example of how we, black men and women and people who have paid attention in our country, pay attention to what they're doing. Pay attention to how they're trying to play you and the game that they playing. They playing chess, man. We still walking around playing checkers. There's no reason that Stacey Abrams is not already the governor of Georgia. But we ain't here talking about Herschel Walker and freaking Raphael Warnock. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Marcus, Mickey wears the white gloves, just so you know.
He just likes to take me off the soapbox. He sees what I'm doing, and this is what he wants to do to me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, because he's speaking to me in a way that only I understand him.
I know what he's saying.
Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Everybody may not know what he's saying, but I know what he's saying. And see now, he done softened me all the way up. Did you do that on purpose, man?
Mickey and Bugs.
Yeah, see,
Bugs is from Brooklyn.
Did you do that on purpose? Did you try to soften me up?
Did you take a shot? Listen, I can't.
Did I take a shot at our brother?
Yeah, you know I can't do that. I can't be present.
I
must come to the defense.
I love this man, yo. I love this man, yo. He has a way. And look, I go on the soapbox every couple of weeks.
Yes.
I don't go on every week like I used to. That
this one
conversation was worthy.
This warranted.
So, Steph, I want you to say what I didn't say what you need to say. You know, Uncle H says, preach truth. He also says Uncle H been waiting on the Herschel Walker conversation. By the way, I saw your note earlier, Uncle H, where you asked what about Herschel, and I just didn't get back to it. But I appreciate you being patient and staying with us to this stage of the show. We get to him. Our brother Ernest Porter, who was a guest on our show, the author, a few weeks ago. Ernest, while you're there, by all means, put your stuff in the chat here. So the folks who are rocking with us now, who may not have heard when you were on with us a few weeks ago, they may have access to your book. I'm sure we can get it on Amazon or whatever. But he says, Ernest says, "Hey fam, I appreciate your show. Stay true." You know, I ain't cuss a whole lot on the show in the old days, but damn it, it's a new me. And when shit need to get said, it just need to get said. Ain't no Hastel Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in that radio. Shout out to Moms and Pops, and hopefully I don't get my mouth washed out with soap. What you guys said, B?
Might have earned it.
I might have earned it on that one. How many times did I say fuck?
Oh well, enough.
I counted 5.
And then you just jumped in with
Fuck
that.
7.
Okay. Like I said, I counted 5 and I stopped counting.
I'm just saying. I'm a total mess, man. I'm a free spirit, man, and I'm freer than I ever been doing this show. So I'm just happy.
One of the benefits of January 6th.
One of the benefits of January 6th, then opened me all the way up. So anyway, Step B, jump in here. Okay. In a weird kind of way, it did. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You know, I agree with you that it has been no different than running Sarah Palin because there may be a woman involved, and so running Herschel against Raphael Warnock is an insult, but it also is a clarification and confirmation that any old Negro will do for them. And what is more important is that they know they'll be able to control Walker's vote when they get in there. And they have gone on, and now through Dana Loesch and several other Republican representatives, including some from the NRA, they have basically admitted that they don't care about the abortions. They want their power back. So now you know that all this time, with all the conversations about abortion and the last 5 months we've been on this, now 4, with the Roe v. Wade and the Obergefell conversation, it never was about that. It never was about caring for the lives of unborn children. It never was any of that. It simply is being able to have a display of power. And if we allow the Republican Party to continue to use abortion as a part of their moral platform from this point forward, the vote is the problem. This man not only had a woman paid her for 1 abortion, he was willing to pay her for 2. This is a man who has been, and this is the other thing people need to understand. What they like best about Herschel is his anti-Blackness. This is a man that's running around perpetuating a story, a myth, a stereotype that's not true. That is not true, which is that the majority of Black men are not involved with their children. That's a lie. Do we have things we need to clean up in our communities? Absolutely. That is a lie. That the majority of Black men are not involved with their children. This is what Herschel has been out there talking about. Fatherlessness in the Black community, as though, it is a pervasive thing that does not touch any other race, and so on and so forth. And then abortion and how it's used against Black people. These are all things that he has been doing because they love the sound of that band. They love any type of it. They love anything that says Black people are bad. They're horrible. And if they can get it to come out of the mouth of a Black person, Candace Walker, is that her name? Owens. Yeah. Candace Owens. Yeah. Where her white husband. And she doesn't even deserve that song. And Herschel Walker, who's had multiple white wives here, and children by white women. Here they are out there pushing the narrative. I don't care. It needs to be said. You're pushing a narrative that is not true while living the narrative. He gets to go out and talk about abortion and campaign that he does not believe in abortion for any purpose, not even for the health of the mother. But we do believe in it when it's to save the image and the money of the father. They do believe in it when it's to save a political career. They do believe in it when it's something that could hurt the narrative or the image of that individual. Herschel shouldn't even be allowed to stand on the same stage with Warnock, but this is the Republican Party. This is who they are. And I don't care. I don't care about all the Republicans out there that say, oh, that's not me. I don't believe that way. I don't care. This is who represents you. This is the bulk of your party. This is Carrie Lake. This is the bulk of your party. This is Tuberville. This is Trump. This is Taylor Greene. This is all of those people. Herschel is just a disgusting reflection of how easily Black folk will let themselves be bought for a penny. He knows there's no way the Democratic Party would run him. He knows they would never get behind him. He knows his B-list celebrity matters not. C-list? You giving him C? Yeah. He wasn't even being spoken about until this. So yeah, C-list. I think the biggest part of this for me is that the Republicans I think the Democrats are weak. They are not attacking this the way they should. They're allowing people to run without directly confronting them. This is not the time to take the moral high ground when it comes to conversation and dialogue and what you say when you go on air. And Herschel Walker is a disgrace. Now, the one area that I thought was interesting was, for so long, the right has been the moral majority. They run under that. The evangelical pride, then they have the Tea Party, and everything has been significantly centered on morality that none of them are living up to. None of them are living up to. If Herschel Walker gets in there, and Raphael Warnock, who, to your point, not just is the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, is extremely articulate in all of his political points, while being reflective of the fact that he wants to be a public servant, not a politico. If he loses, I don't know, game over for this political climate.
You already know what it, you already know what it is.
It is what it is.
You should start getting yourself
prepared.
I'm gonna play a clip here, right? I'm gonna play a clip.
Is this another loud part? Quiet
you,
part
you
out
already
loud?
you already know which clip I'm about to play.
God.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna tell you. You know which clip I'm about to play. I'm about to play a clip that will, if you are confused politically about the climate in this country and how they feel about us and what they think about us, then you shouldn't be. And if you're confused,
it isn't us.
Well, yeah.
It's a collective. They think this of all. So
yeah.
I'm just saying this because we got a few people who think because they have coins in their purse.
Make that. I know what you mean, but make that plain.
So
clean that up a little bit.
Absolutely.
I know what you mean.
When you say us, I want the audience to understand that Steph B is no different than anybody else. Doesn't matter if you hear my voice on radio or anything else. All Black women, all Black men, we are a collective. Jay-Z fits in this. Barack Obama fits in this. No, when a white politician says what Tommy Tuberville, what you're about to hear in this clip here, when they say it, this is an all hands on deck call. This is every one of you. So when you walk around with your new money and your new degrees that you paid for, just realize you're not exempt from this, nor are your children, nor is your legacy. This is the perception of who we as a collective are.
The clip I'm going to play is a round table, and they're talking about the comments that Tommy Tuberville made over the weekend, and then we'll jump in and we'll talk about it. Take a listen.
Tuberville hit the stage at former President Trump's rally in Nevada last night, and well, let's just roll the tape.
They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
Now, just to be clear, they want reparation because they think that people that do the crime are owed that. That is, there's no other way to read that sentence, and we've reached out several times to Tuberville's team. There's no other way to read that other than Black people want reparations and they do the crime.
Is that what he means by they?
Yeah.
Like he keeps saying
exactly
they want that, or
there's only one conversation about reparations, and it's for descendants.
And crime. Tommy Tuberville can go to hell. And let me tell you why. The fact is, he made tens of millions of dollars off unpaid Black men as a football coach. He literally has the stature he has because people went out there and assumed the risk and incurred the risk of concussions, playing hard and everything. And then for him to give these racist tropes, I mean, it infuriates me. But this is a large swath of the Republican Party that they have to deal with that they've never done.
Yeah, I mean, they just flat out, he talking about Black people. He should man up and say it. American descendants of slaves do deserve reparations in this country. They absolutely do. But for him to equate a whole group of people as being criminal, you know what's criminal? Allowing people to languish in poverty, not supporting policies that will lift people up. That is what's criminal.
There's, by the way, there's a way to talk about crime in this campaign. It's an important issue. A lot of people are worried about it.
It is.
This ain't it.
Well,
There it is.
I mean, objectively speaking, we do have
blacks
crime
are also
problems.
overwhelmingly
We have-
victims of crime.
And
Right.
people across the political spectrum are worried about it.
Sure.
And so there's a way to discuss issues that are very serious. And the same.
But this is
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Dan Legacy in that radio. John, you up first?
I got to deal. I'm gonna deal with Herschel Walker real quick and roll right into this. I'm gonna try to blend it. Buffoon is a compliment with regard to Herschel Walker. Unfortunately, I do not subscribe to people who wear their religious beliefs on their chest as being people who should be politicians. It's too much. There's too much bias. Like the idea that we are a Judeo-Christian society to me is evil in its ideology. The fact that the president say God bless America to me should be a crime. A person's relationship with whatever deity they have is a personal one, and we should stop forcing or trying to force it on people. This is what's been going on since forever, and nothing happens but more innocent people die under the idea of my God is better than yours. But the man ain't a walking idiot like Herschel Walker. And yeah, the Republican Party put him up there to justify their ideology of the buffoonery of blacks, which leads us into this stuff. Unfortunately, his words were kind of right. His context was wrong, because in the Civil War, the slave owners got reparations because they lost their slaves. So the criminals did get rewarded reparations, right? The people who sought to overthrow the government got paid.
Yes, they did.
Right? So again, his words is right, his context is wrong. Right? And the problem is I'm trying as hard as I try, I keep getting caught up in narrative that is causing the problem. And that's the race narrative. It's no race. You got human beings. You have people. And guess what? All of the day-to-day life issues and problems are equally spread among people, regardless of their pigmentation or lack thereof. People suffer and struggle the same way. People have the desire for their children and their loved ones the same. The difference is the narrative has been white supremacy is the narrative, and it continues to be forced on people, and people buy into it on both sides. Even the people, even the so-called white people who think that they're liberal and so on and so forth, they don't even understand that they buy into their ideology by identifying themselves as such. Right? People are just people, and they should be treated how people are treated. You got good people and bad people. Equally, there is nobody has a patent on dumb shit. Right? We got equally stupid, dumb people across the board. The issue is not black fathers in the home, black on black crime, all that this idiot and his nonsense and all this other kind of stuff. None of that's the issue. The issue is, while these people who are controlling all of the world's resources are living well, the masses are fighting with each other about stuff that makes no sense and bears and will get them nowhere, while they're not paying attention. Like, pay no attention to these oligarchs over here worry about how much pigmentation that guy has and you don't have. And that's and as long as we keep doing that, we're gonna have these issues. Politically, I'm gonna tell you, in a couple weeks when they have these elections, if we have more senators who are Trumpers, I ain't calling them Republicans, Tea Party Trumpers, senators, Tea Party Trumper governors, if they take over in a reasonable majority, I've been spending about 4 months outside the country, 8 months in the country. That's going to reverse because I'm not going to be here for it.
You know, and there we go with semantics again, right? These are people who are identified as Republicans. The majority of the Republican Party had voted lock, stock, and barrel with Trump. It is no longer a Tea Party or this, that, and the other. The Republicans have followed closely behind everything that Trump has said or done, including protecting him through two trials, including supporting candidates that are lying about whether the election was stolen or not. And so, politely renaming them, that's a lot of the problem in this country, is that we politely try to rename something or remove the name because either we're associated, it makes us uncomfortable, or we don't like, we want to create some fuzzy, light, new category. We have two parties in this country, period. Do we need more? Yes. We need something substantial outside of the two-party system. I'm not going to discuss whether I think that will happen or not. But right now, we have two parties in this system. And the party that is promoting Herschel Walker and the individuals that are going to go out and stump for him on the campaign trail, the Rick Scotts of the world, the Ron DeSantis, all those people, the Brian Kemps who tried to avoid it but is now going to have to do it, they are identified with an R before their name. Now, at the end of the day, the party doesn't even matter. The fact that they are collectively pushing. We went from 5 years ago, being shocked at a man admitting on a tour bus to a celebrity magazine that he grabs women by their sexual parts and they like it, and you could just do it because you're a celebrity. And there was a moment where the Republican Party was like, "Oh yeah, we can't be seen with this guy. He's terrible." And we have come absolutely to the other side of that circle, where now that same grouping of people, the same people with the R in front of their name, are promoting an individual that literally has engaged in more than one of the things they, for the last 3 months, the last 40 years, have been fighting against and have been using as a political firebrand or a cause. I think there is no doubt that the desire to display and to discuss and to be vulgar about anti-blackness has always existed. It's always been under the cover of it all. There was a moment in time where it quietly went away, maybe the late 80s and through the 90s. And now it's back. The covers have been removed. And these are people who know that the same people who for years have been telling us racism doesn't exist. They said it before Obama. You don't need reparations. Slavery happened a long time ago, as though that is the only reflection, as though enslavement is the only reflection of racism. This is now occurring because for so long we have ignored the fact that it's always been there, it's present, it's existed. People have run on platforms that you don't have to say the N word to have policies and platforms that reflect how you feel about Black people. And the way that they're able to identify Black people who are willing to co-sign on it is absolutely crazy to me. But I also I will be disappointed if people don't start to realize that you can't even avoid the vote for dog catcher now. You cannot go into the midterms and act like it's not important. It's absolutely important. The reason that Herschel has made it at the level that he has is the support at the local levels in Georgia. So if we don't learn anything from this, and we don't learn anything about Tuberville, I mean, let's be real about Tuberville. Yes, he made money off of poor black men who were working hard to make it to the next level, to get through college, to go to the NFL, whatever their aspirations were. The majority of young black men playing in NCAA sports do not come from homes that are, wealthy. A lot of them are playing this sport to elevate their families. I think it was noticeable that a large amount of the people that played for him did not say anything when he showed up with Trump, and haven't said anything now. I think that is noticeable. I think the fact that the majority of people who have played for him throughout his career have been black men, and they have been very, very quiet. And this is why the Herschels, the Trumps, the DeSantis, the Brian Kemps, this is why they will continue to win. Because there are large groupings of people within our own community that won't even step up and say anything. And that's more problematic maybe than Tuberville's words.
Well, I don't disagree with anything you said. My only issue with it is it's a show, right? The people who are truly in power use that for distraction purposes, right? Racism and white supremacy exist in this country and in the world, not for the particular benefit of whites over blacks, but it's to keep the white people of a mindset that black people are their issue, that they can't experience life to the abundance that they would want to. It's black people's fault.
I don't disagree with that.
Right? So my whole thing is, in order to truly combat racism and white supremacy, we got to stop feeding that narrative. Somebody has to be able to have an honest conversation and say, look, man, I don't got $10 billion liquid. You don't have $10 billion liquid. That makes it us against them, because the only reason they have $10 billion liquid is because we don't. There is no dynamic. There is no hard work. There is no event of circumstances that creates true wealth inequality in the world, other than, right, distraction based on racism, right? This is how the elite stay the elite, because these people keep fighting over the dumbest shit, right? It's obvious Herschel Walker is too stupid to be a politician, right? It's obvious, but it's people are willing to move that aside to hold on to the idea, well, God damn it, I'm white, and because I'm white, I'm better than. So they'll believe that shit as long as we keep buying into it and selling it, right? And then we go, and the narrative isn't the same for blacks, because blacks is trying to still understand or trying to have an idea of what the hell y'all talking about.
Right?
What? And then lastly, black people are brainwashed with this social religious dynamic of, no matter how hard they kick you, no matter how hard they beat you, no matter how much you're wronged, because you're a child of God, you forgive them, and because you could take the beating, it makes you better morally, although you didn't have dinner last night. You know, that this is, and here goes the thing. You said something not just now, but before about it's about power, right? And I had wrote something down. It's political social rape, right? It's I'm going to dominate you and control you, and I'm gonna let my insecurity uh 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 give me some false strength so I can dominate you. And this is what's going on. And everybody is so brainwashed and confused that the masses, the big numbers, are just letting it happen.
And you know, I have Steph Marcus J live from New Den Legacy Net Radio. I understand the spirit of what you're saying. I think that on a ground floor level, an individual person level, it's just the social brainstorming that we have, the construct that our brother Joe Madison always speaks of, where he says that we are socially conditioned to believe that white is right, and the manifestation of that as that black people are underestimated and marginalized. And I think that is the bigger thing. I think when we think that the general normal white person is walking around with this conspiracy in their mind to keep black people down, I think that's nonsense. I think that is a part of the social consciousness where we are culturally conditioned. And the unfortunate reality is it ain't just them. We are too. You know what I mean? We clutch our pearls when we see black folk, just like they clutch their pearls when they see black folk. Like, we should be not so reckless with our statements to not know what's real. Like, we know what's real. Like, we seen our own people treat us the same way that white folks treat us. And we hear our own people say things like, black people. Like, we do the shit too. You know what I mean? We're part of that cultural conditioning, and we give them the power to treat us the way that they treat us. When we don't stick together, when we don't support one another, when we play into the stereotype of how they see us, we feed into it. We got our own Herschel Walkers in our own neighborhoods, in our own families. We see them. We know them. We sit at the bar with them. We go to work with them. And then we turn around and we act like Herschel Walker is just on CNN and Fox and MSNBC. Like, no, we know his ass. And many of us could call our personal Herschel Walker out by name if we chose to. I could think of one right in Manchester. I said it. So, you know, it's what it is. It's what it is when we talk about this conversation. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to change? Are we going to change our own ways when we lead the people who are closest to us? Because we know that any advancement we've ever had has always been grassroots. We ain't ever made no advancements in any other way other than that. And we have those of us who are part of our communities that we want to cast out because they ain't acting right. It may be right here in Richmond, Virginia, in neighborhoods that we frequent. Or it may be in Atlanta, Georgia, and hopefully not on a national scale. But the reality is, when we know better, we need to do better. And we need to work around them instead of assuming that they are going to win. Because, again, like I said earlier, I ain't got a dog in this fight, but I kind of got a dog in this fight, you know, because I'm offended that Raphael Warnock has to deal with being in a tight race with someone so breathtakingly unqualified as Herschel Walker. And that, to me, is a testament to white supremacy and how powerful it is, where you can convince not only intelligent white people, but intelligent black people that this man is a viable option for the United States Senate. Now think about this now. We talking about a senator, and while we as black people have our own frustrations with the system and how it works, I think we would be unwise to not give it the respect that it deserves. Because we had Donald Trump doesn't mean that we don't respect the presidency. You know what I'm saying? Because we're dealing with Herschel Walker in Atlanta does not mean that we don't respect the Senate. If you're going to live in this country, you should respect the way that the order is set up. Respect it. You don't always agree with it, but you should respect it. And I stand firm on that. And the last few years, the political landscape has made it so it's hard for us to respect it because they on that bullshit. We know it, and they know it too. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy in that radio. And when I said a minute ago, I said what I said. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from New Den, Legacy Internet Radio. All right, it's time for us to take that turn and move towards the next stage of the show. The final stage of the show where we rant, we close, we do our moment in Black history, and we look for missing children. I have a couple of moments in Black history. Then I'm going to ask a question in Black history that I would like for the panel to address. And after that, we will move into our missing children, and then we will rant. Let's see. Let's start in 1963. This week in Black history, state troopers joined local deputies in beating and shocking with cattle prods more than 350 black people as they wait in line at the county courthouse in Selma, Alabama to register to vote. Yeah, almost 60 years ago. All right, 1944, the United States Supreme Court hears arguments in Kuramatsu versus United States and later issues decision upholding the executive order that led to the internment of Japanese Americans. You mean to tell me they don't just fuck with us? Okay. 1995.
Never enough.
Yeah, right. 5 police officers in suburban Pittsburgh killed black motorist Johnny Garmage during a routine traffic stop by pinning him face down on the pavement until he asphyxiates. 1995. Sound familiar, anybody? And hashtag Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in their radio. The moment in Black history that I wanted us all to comment on is not really a moment in Black history, but it is what today is, and the reason why a lot of folks didn't go to work. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day. Indigenous Peoples Day. This is my own corny ass tongue-in-cheek way to throw shade at Columbus Day. And every year it's always on a Monday. We do our show on Monday, so we always have a moment where we can go around the room and say our own piece on it. I'll lead us off. Steph will say her word. John will follow. I'll get into missing children, and then we'll move us on to our rants. My only statement on Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day is asinine that we live in United States of America. America's Vespucci came here first, and we don't live in the United States of Columbus. That ought to tell you that our founding fathers thought he was full of shit and not worthy of naming a whole country after him. How dare you find something that was always there? I'd like to go to my neighbor's house and find their stuff and see how that goes over for me. I tell the same prose every single year. Every single year is appropriate because every single year that I have to live through Columbus Day is a day that is worthy of my shade and is worthy of us all rolling our eyes and is worthy of us looking at those folks who still knowing what they know in 2022 about this man and about the history of how he came here and how he stole and pillaged and raped and murdered, how he has cities and all kinds of stuff named after him, monuments and days and all kinds of stuff, speaks to white supremacy in this country. And how, if you look at Richmond, Virginia, how we decided that we wanted to take some monuments down, you still have opposition of people who went crazy on us. It'll never happen on a federal scale here, but there are some cities and jurisdictions that have moved to Indigenous Peoples Day, and I commend those people for being, air quotes, woke. Steph, you got the con on this one. What's your thoughts?
I don't have
Mike.
a lot.
Yeah, you want? Go ahead.
Okay. I don't have a lot. only because we know what we know, right? And what I look at about what I look at with Columbus that I think is we often leave out how brutal Columbus was. And I've heard people say, another thing John Oliver did was he ran through scripting of every news show that was like, everybody's got something bad in their background. And, he was just a man of his time who cut the hands off natives who didn't bring him enough gold. I mean, is that what we're talking about? A man who allowed his men to test their blades by killing people, who mutated other Spaniards, who paraded naked women through the streets as a punishment, who started a child sex slave ring. I mean, it's weird to me that Cristoforo Colombo is being protected, and the result, it would be like, well, Jeffrey Dahmer did what he did, but everybody has something bad in their background. He loved his mother and father. What are we talking about? Columbus and his people paraded the bodies of Arawak natives dismembered through town. He pretended to be God to keep the natives working for him. There were entire tribes that committed mass suicide rather than live with him. And we're just supposed to be like, no big deal. He was a man of his time. I often watch and listen to Black people immediately discard someone who's made a mistake. Immediately. Got to get them out. Got to cancel them. Got to get rid of that person who have made mistakes that have a million times less detriment to a multitude of people. And the fact that we allow people to say, well, yes, James Madison had slaves, but that was just a part of the time. Yes, the founding fathers. We literally are saying, yes, sure, they created the fundamental nature of the bloody fabric of this country, but we would rather perpetuate the tiny truth that everybody can, even a broke clock can be right twice. We rather perpetuate that than talk about the truths that truly impacted large swaths of people, that impact this country now. When you have a Columbus Day parade and you don't think about everything that you are parading for, it's shocking to me. But I'll forever acknowledge that as you said, it's Indigenous People Day. That's all it is.
You know what it is. You know what it is, John. John knows what it is. What you got, bro?
It's almost too much coming from me.
Shocker.
It's all a bunch of lies.
I tried to get him. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't.
It's all a bunch of lies. The America Vespucci. That's bullshit. That's
America's Vespucci.
That's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
What's a lie?
That the reason that we call America is because of him. No, it's a Mexa. So everybody, people from around the world knew about this place before Columbus.
It's a lie that America is not named after America's
It's not named
Vespucci?
after this. It's a Mexum.
What's
right?
a Mexum? What's a Mexum?
A Mexum is the name of the land. That's why Mexico is Mexico. It's a Mexum.
But the
right?
country is called United States of America.
Yeah, but they didn't get the America from America, but they got the America's derivative of a Mexum. This place was, nobody discovered nothing. Columbus.
Where'd you get that from?
History books.
I never seen that in no books.
I'll give you a few. I'm
gonna hold you to that.
Okay, I got you. I'll get you a reading list.
Every history book I ever read, as much as bullshit as it is, says that our country was named after America's Vespucci.
Exactly.
So you're saying that that's not true?
That is a big bunch of bullshit. And
But
I'll give you the books to.
But it's named after.
The land was called a Mexum.
Amexum,
Amexum.
Americus doesn't work for me. All right, go ahead. Your point.
Amexum. That was it.
Yeah, it doesn't work
Okay.
for me.
I'll give you a whole bunch of books on it, so you could do your own research. and
Ernest
learn
Porter
about it.
says he's 100% correct. So Ernest Porter's agreeing with
All
you.
right. So
I think y'all both crazy.
okay. See, listen, people for years thought we was crazy when you told them that Columbus never set foot on any land of the Americas. The furthest he got was the Caribbean. He never touched the two continents.
Nah,
right?
Caribbean.
He's not Italian. He's a Spaniard.
He's a Spaniard.
All right. He established what is known as chattel slavery, which people often confuse with other forms of slavery practiced around the world for years.
All true.
Chattel slavery is uniquely something that belongs here, that black people experienced alone.
All true.
Nobody. And
there you won't get an argument
and
with me.
The origins of the slave trade went the other way. It was people from here going to Europe as slaves. It was people he took from Hispaniola and other islands and sent them back to Europe to become slaves that gave them the idea to go find Africans and send them back this way because they had killed all the people around here. Because the people they found here weren't the indigenous people who were the migrant farming people of the plains of North America who moved with the seasons and picked up their whole thing and hunted buffalo. That's not who they found here. According to their own documentations and descriptions, they found African-looking people here with cities, with buildings and structures and ideas that they took for themselves.
True.
So
my only point of contention is how they name the country. But
right.
I
Okay.
got you.
But all of that falls into the same narrative.
Everything else, I'm with you.
I got you. But I'll get you the information. The whole point is it's all a lie. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And the reason why why the capital of the nation is in the District of Columbia is for that reason. Is because Columbus gave them the idea of how to grow a nation. You kill, you rape, you destroy, you create agreements and treaties, and you go back on them. Right? And this is how they built the nation over a couple hundred years. And then the instant that black people and white people decided that they were getting the short end of the stick, they created race. They created the white people in 1681. And then they told the white slaves or indentured servants that they were better than the black slaves simply because they were white and they were black. And it went on from there. Right? So we will praise and celebrate Columbus. We will praise and celebrate Rhodes. Right? We will speak about in high regard Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, who were some evil child molesting bastards. But we will send our children to schools with their names on it, and we'll live the lie. And it's not like we don't know. Cognitive dissonance is abounds, right? But you can't they took Bill Cosby off of network television. And what was you saying a minute ago, Steph? He was a man of his times. Spanish Fly was big in the 70s and 80s. No. It was no good what he did. I'm not backing what he did, but I'm saying spin, narrative. I'm not bigging him up. I'm just saying the way you want a story to be told is how you gonna tell it. And these people tell the stories of George Washington who cut down the cherry tree and never tell a lie. That was a Mexican flag he chopped down. It wasn't a cherry tree. It was a treaty among the people here. The first nation to recognize us as a country was Morocco. And a Mexican was a direct derivative of Morocco. Northwest Africa. So it's a lot of shit in the game. It's a whole lot of lies. And Columbus has become the focal point, the mascot of evil that is this country. that has created what we experience to this day. And until we ready to take his name off of everything, change the name of the cap. I mean, how long did it take him to change the Redskins to the Commanders? I guess we got to wait 10 times longer than that before we can get the District of Columbia to be the District of Iroquois.
Hold your breath on that one, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, ain't no hashtag Marcus shit live from New Dan Legacy Net Radio. All right, so we're gonna move towards the end of the show. Let's see, John, you definitely on it tonight because you got a few folks that's with you. Diamond says, "Thank you, I enjoyed. Look forward to next week." We got another comment in here. I'm trying to figure out who laid that comment for some reason. I have some comments with the names come up easily and others don't come up. So if you ever see me put your comment on the screen that says Facebook user, sometimes I can figure out who you are and sometimes it doesn't tell me. So that's just a technology thing. I don't know what that's about, but hey, transparency. But someone says, boy, the brother is 100% on it tonight. So I wish I could figure out who that
Thank you,
is.
whomever.
And whoever that is, go back and comment, just put your name, because for some reason your name is not showing with your comment. So, but if you hear that, go ahead and rock with that. Anyway, let's see. Last comment that I see there: the concept of race emerged in the mid 17th century as a means for justifying enslavement of Africans in colonial America. Corcoran said, and scientists eventually devised theories to uphold the system of forced labor. That's Ernest. That's Ernest. Our brother Ernest is saying that. So thank you, Ernest. Thank you, brother. And thank you for continuing to be with us. That last jewel that I just read is spot on, and we appreciate you. And I asked that Mark J. Live from New Dan Legacy and Radio. All right, let's get these missing children in so I can get y'all home to watch Monday Night Football. And I'll give you the tease. The Raiders are kicking the Chiefs' ass. So we're looking for Kalarja Yalarde Young. Kalarja Yalarde Young. She's missing from the Cap City here in Richmond. She's 14-year-old black female. She's 5'2", 130. Last seen here in the Cap. She goes by Laje. She wears her hair in a ponytail. She was last seen with black and blonde colored hair. And she was wearing a black shirt with pink writing, empathy, and black jeans. If you've seen Kalarja Yalarde Young, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Richmond Police Department at 804-646-5101. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we continue our search for our missing children, we continue our look for them in Henrico County, part of the Cap City. We're looking for Alyssa Ferguson. She's 17. She's 5'5", 150. Last seen wearing a red jacket, camouflage leggings, white tennis shoes. She's got dimples in her cheeks and a mole in her left hand. I'm looking at her picture. She's a light-skinned young sister with a big old giant dimple right on her left cheek. You cannot miss it based upon this photo. If you have seen Alyssa Ferguson, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children at their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000. Last but not least, bringing it home to my home county, Chesterfield, we're looking for Ganelle Anderson. She's a 15-year-old black female. She's 5'5", 130. She was last seen wearing a pink and white jacket, gray leggings, white tennis shoes, long straight wig. She's got a piercing in her right nostril. If you have seen Ganelle Anderson, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children, their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Chesterfield County Police Department at 804-748-1251. Recap: Kalarja Yalarde Young, Alyssa Ferguson, Ganelle Anderson from Henrico, Richmond, as well as Chesterfield. If you've seen any of these young sisters, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children at website missingkids.org, or contact them by phone at 1-800-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. I do this every week. We do this every week. I've done this. We've done this on this show or shows that we've been attached to since September of 2011, which is when we started doing internet radio and podcasting. We will always look for our youth, our children, and our young adults, mostly because no one else will. But generally because the more eyes, ears, and hands on these cases, the more likely they will result in positive outcomes. And it's a very, very traumatic thing to go past the bedroom every single day and night to where a young person resides and that young person is not there. And it's a difficult, challenging thing for that family to go through every single day, because while Marcus J and John and Steph B will come in and profile these people, these families are still dealing with the absence of their family member. And so we should be mindful of that. We should be sensitive to that. And we should keep our ears and eyes open because of that. And so if you have seen any of these young folks or any of the people who we are profiled in the past, or if you see something that looks out of sorts with a young person that may appear to not be in a safe way, but maybe trying to camouflage that, be observant, be diligent. And I would rather that we try to do something or maybe contact authority to try to find these babies as opposed to not. So if you've seen them, do the right thing. Ain't no ass Steppin, Marcus J live from New Den Legacy and Radio. All right, it's time for us to shut it down. We did the missing kids. We did the moment in Black history. We talked shit to each other. We fussed. We did all of that. Now it's time to rant. That time of the show. So, John, you got the con. This is where you say whatever it is that you want to say uninterrupted, where you rant, where you close, and I'll shout out those folks that are rocking with us when it comes my time. But I missed you, man. It's the first time I get a chance to rock with you since we spent some time together in Long Island, New York. We had an opportunity to see our brother Bobby exchange his nuptials.
Man.
Did I steal your thunder?
Go ahead, bro.
No, well, I won't go on. I just would say
go on,
this is the last time I had an opportunity to see you. And we had some wardrobe malfunctions. I don't know.
Both of us.
I don't know if you had planned on getting into that. Can I get into that, or you want to get into it? All right. So, at the risk of stealing any of his thunder, I don't want to do that. But John and I, we're good brothers with our brother Bobby, and our brother Bobby got married on September 25th. In Long Island, New York, and we traveled to New York to visit with Bobby and his family and to share in his nuptials. And just first of all, it was one of the best weddings I've been to in a very long time. Well planned, and it was just a very, very nice facility. Everything about it was great. But I don't know if you know this, but Bobby had a malfunction that day as well. So John and Bobby, I'm so used to saying John and Bobby and yours truly, we all have malfunctions. All right, so I take my shower. It's a 4:00 wedding, right? We about 10 minutes away at the hotel. So I'm in the shower, I'm doing my thing. I'm in the right time frame, but I had the right time frame. Like I didn't have time to deviate, right? So take the shower. I reach into the closet to grab my pants to put on my suit because I clean up well. I wear Crocs and sweatpants most of the time, but when it's time for me to get right, it ain't too many people to get righter than me. It's just what it is. And I was reaching to get right, and my pants wasn't there. And I knew instantly that they were not there. Yeah, I left my pants to my suit in Richmond, Virginia. And I know how it happened. And I knew instantly, Steph, how it happened. I took my suit to the dry cleaners, and when it went to the dry cleaners, the pants and the jacket got separated. I normally put the pants and the jacket on the same hanger, but they got separated dry cleaners. So when I reached the closet, I was like, nah. I ain't had no pants. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. So I went in my bag and I pulled out a pair of jeans and I rocked the jeans, and I was just like, it's just what it is, right? So I make my way to the wedding facility, and I felt self-conscious for about, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe 3 seconds, and then after that I was good. But then John walks in. We do the salutations, and I'm about to tell him, yo, let me tell you, because he noticed that I had jeans on. Yeah, he noticed that I had jeans on. He was like, yo, and I was like, man, let me tell you. So I told him the story. He was like, let me tell you my story.
Right. So Marcus was sharp as Diggy's hat pin. Let's just leave it at that. All right. The outfit did not look off at all. If you know Marcus, you would assume that's what he wanted to wear. Right. But then when he told me what happened, I was like, damn. So I had been in New York already for like 3 days. Right. I had some other stuff to go to, and I had a different suit that I had on and different shoes. So I was catching a plane the next morning out of the country. So I didn't want to carry that much stuff. So I sent my other suit home, and I sent the shoes home too. I wanted an option. I had other shoes. I had 2 options of shoes to wear. I said, I'm going to put this together, and whichever shoe I think is better is what I'm going to wear. I sent one of my options home. I only had one option. It worked. It worked.
It worked.
And that was my I don't even want to talk about Bobby. I let him tell his own story.
Yeah, I'll tell Bobby's story. So I talked to Bobby after we make it back to Virginia.
You do know that I took him.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
So Bobby makes it to the wedding without his tie. He had to go to the store.
I really can't say anything.
From the wedding. He had to leave the wedding to go get a tie. That's what he told me.
And it wasn't supposed to be like that, because I took him to get his suit on the phone with his bride to make sure it was exactly what it needed to be, down to the last button.
And he still didn't have a tie until the wedding day. He had to leave the wedding to go get a tie. I said, you know what? The 3 of us, what the hell just happened?
But nobody,
Seriously.
but here's what I'm saying. Only we would have known if you was observing us.
You would have never known, yeah.
Because first of all, Marcus and I was at the flyers table at the wedding, the table of the unknown soldier.
Yes, that's an inside joke.
We're talking about that
That's
later.
an inside joke.
But
Yeah.
we had a fly table.
Yeah,
We had a fly table, so it was good. Listen, I had when I said you read my mind, because I was gonna lead off my rant with congratulating.
Let me get one more. Get one more salutation, and then you got it. We got a hit from one of my favorite people here in this town. He's an OG with internet radio and podcasting. He is one of the founders of 101 The Fam. Our brother Daryl Tech Burton, VA Tech, is checking us out right now. He's saying, good evening, good people. I appreciate you, brother. I look at this dude like the OG, man. I tell you, when I have had issues and questions and how to do this whole thing, that's who I call. This dude who I just shouted out, that's who I call. So enjoy your file with Sniffin', bro, because you absolutely deserve them. You're a legend here. You're a leader here. You're a pioneer here. And the love that I'm giving you now is a fraction of what you deserve. I rocks with you. So appreciate you. I don't know that I've had an opportunity to give you those flowers in a long time, but you absolutely deserve them. And I appreciate you, bro. He says always, back to you, bro. Back to you, John.
So I was going to lead off my rant by saying congratulations to Bobby Mack and Queen P, on their wedding, on their wonderful union, and let them know how inspirational they are as human beings who share an incredible love and who are now a family that is just a wonderful manifestation of how good things can be and how wonderful life is. And it just knowing them and watching, being fortunate enough to be a part of what their family is, has been a privilege of mine, one of the greater privileges of my life. And I want to thank both of them for that honor. I want to deviate my rant from my normal stuff today, because I'm feeling different today. I've had a couple conversations. I've been out of the country for a couple of weeks, and I've had an opportunity to have conversations with a few people about a few things. And one of the things, in a great part, Steph, that you're responsible for is my better acknowledgement of the life of women in womanhood, and especially Black women. I remember about, I don't know, maybe it's about 30 years ago now. Deep in the music business, and I had a lot of good things going on. I had a good trajectory and a path. And I was wearing a button one time at a session, and it said, "Respect and protect the Black woman." And a white woman came up to me and she said, "That's a nice button, but shouldn't it say respect and protect all women?" I thought for a second, and I told her, "Well, all women are not my concern. Black women are my concern." So that's why it says that. And later on, I found out that this was a very influential individual. And I don't regret saying it, but it definitely changed the path of my career in the music industry, making that statement. Brothers, Black men, I'm going to talk to you for about 5 minutes or less. And I remember going to the Million Man March, and Minister Farrakhan ending his speech with giving us marching orders. He says, "Go back to your community and do something. Join an organization. I'm not telling you to become a Muslim, but do something. Join something. Join your church or your mosque. Join a synagogue. Volunteer at the boys' club. Become a big brother. Do something. Join an organization. Do something in your community as a Black man." I called the millions of you here today to tell you that you need to be active in your community. Right? So right now I'm talking to Black men, and I'm telling you, you have to protect your women. Right? There's stuff going on that people ain't talking about, man. There are places around this country where women are being abducted at a rate that is unheard of. And it's not just little girls. These are grown women whose cars are being marked in mall parking lots with little stickers and different things and so on and so forth, where these people are watching our women and abducting them and doing, I don't know whatever it is, sex trafficking, organ, whatever. But it's time for us to step up. And it doesn't always have to be an opportunity to engage in some type of romantic ideology. But walk a woman to a car in the daytime. It don't got to be just at night. Walk her to a car. You see a woman walking alone, don't always just go for the, "Hey, could I get your number?" And say, "Miss, I'm sorry. I noticed that you alone. I'm not even going to get too close, but you going over this way, I'm going to walk beside you until you get to where you got to go, just to make sure you get where you going safely." Right? And not saying that you Superman and you going to stop. You're going to do the movie thing where the guys jump out the van and you're going to do the close quarter combat and disarm them. No, but it's safety in numbers, right? What they can do to one, they may not be able to do to two. And just the idea that they see this woman walking with someone else who acknowledges the fact that she's there makes her not as attractive a target, right? Make yourself available to women that are not your woman, that are not your biological sister or family member or relative. Just make yourself available to a black woman who you see who may happen to be alone. And this is not in any way saying that black women can't take care of themselves, right? Or not physically or mentally prepared, or maybe not even be armed or whatever. It's not the point. It's not the point. It is a format. It is an ideology, right? It is healthy for a woman to feel, for anyone to feel, that they're not alone. As men, we take it for granted. We take it for granted. I remember one time I was going to an airport with my ex, and we got in an Uber, and the Uber was not going the route that we were supposed to go. And she was very upset. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't give a damn where he go, because if he try anything, I'm gonna break his neck. Because I'm a man. That's how I think. I don't think, oh my God, is he gonna do something to me? I don't think that. So we take it for granted as men who think that way. And I'm sure, and I'm not saying nothing wrong against men who don't feel that way, because I'm quite sure there's a significant amount of men who feel that same type of anxiety in the back of a stranger's car, depending on them to carry them safely to a location, especially if it's late at night or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is, do not have an expectation of that same thought process with the women in your life or the women in your community, period. These are dangerous times. We see what is going on. We can observe it. It's there. It's not a boogeyman. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's real. Things are not good right now. And I don't know if I can blame it on the Trumpers or whatever, or the economy, or just whatever's going on in the world that causes people to want to abduct people. But it's going on. It's bigger than it's ever been. And because we keep seeing all this other stuff on the news and not seeing this, it lets me know that it's much bigger than what we think it is. So again, this ain't normally what I ran about, but brothers, please step it up. Step it up. Be a little nosy without being intrusive. Have some idea of where the women in your life are, right? And make sure that they know that you know where they are, and that you can get to them. And don't take it for granted. 5 minutes late that should have been 5 minutes early is 10 minutes time too much. So get on it. And that's my rant.
And I have Steph Marcus J live from New Den Legacy Net Radio. I enjoyed that. That was good. That was real good. I love the message. I love the spirit, and I love the man behind it. So I appreciate you, bro, for sharing that with us and with our viewers and listeners, man. That was good. That was real good. Ain't no Steph Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in their radio. Our sister Steph, it's time for you to close us out with your own rant and your own closing. And I'll just say, I'm so glad to see you and be here. I can touch you right there. You're not just inside my phone. And see you. Hey, girl. Hey. That's my sister right there. I like her. She's cool. What you got, man?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to see both of you.
Me more than him, though, right?
I'm equally happy to see both
damn.
of you. I'm not picking favorites.
It's me. She like me more than
John
she like
goes
me.
incognito
more
than you do.
Listen,
I could tell.
I understand it though. I understand it though.
Why I like you?
Why you like him more? It's purposeful. It's purposeful.
Look what I just started. I was just playing.
But it's purposeful.
He's gonna have a whole thing.
It's purposeful.
I'm gonna say it just like I say with my children. I love you both, and I like you both for very different reasons.
That's what you gotta say. You gotta say
because I know if I want somebody ground pounded with no thought, just reaction. I might need to call John.
Yeah, hell yeah. But
Because
if you want to,
Marcus
talk
is
about
going to try to be chill
if you
about
want
it.
to talk
Let's
about
figure
it,
this
you want to
out.
talk about it, then you call me.
So I surround myself with you both, and I give you equal love, so I can
Yeah.
call on you
There you go.
independently.
Know your
and
role.
equally.
Hey, look,
But here
know
goes
your
the,
role.
but here goes the
I
crazy
know
part.
John's role.
But here goes the crazy part. You would think that, but believe it or not, we're the opposite when it comes to that.
I
Because
am
if you call
feisty.
Marcus,
I am
Marcus
feisty.
is a little feisty.
if you call Marcus, talk about something happening, Marcus is locked and loaded,
Oh, I know.
literally and figuratively.
And shout out.
And I'm very much. But what happened?
Yeah, I'm feisty.
Well, I
man.
will say shout out because I called him. I mentioned that I called him last week,
Yeah.
and he knew I was upset about a couple things.
Yeah.
And right away, and shout out to you for the new introduction that you made. I can't announce it tonight,
Yeah.
but I will be. And shout out to the brother who tuned in.
Yeah.
Because you demonstrated that as usual, you're the real deal. And that brother just followed it up and co-signed on the fact that brothers who are real deal. So that's what I want to talk about.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
So I feel like we've switched place here, John. So I was thinking about, on the Hustlers, how we were talking about how the remarkable is never irreplaceable. Is never replaceable. You just can't replace remarkable people. And you can try to compare them. You can look for the alternative. I've heard people say, I'll get a new one. I'm like, I don't care who you dated, who you were married to, or whatever. The next person is not replacing that person if that person had some positioning in your life. And so, in the spirit of acknowledging the fact that I know some really remarkably dope people, I want to first of all say thank you to the individuals who are supporting me, and I'm making that an active verb, are supporting me through this journey, this book project. It is the first, and it leads up to the second, which will come out. It's called The Impact of Googling Your Mother. And so, Steve, I know how to come up with a title. But Secure is available. And I want to thank the women and men. I mean, some brothers really came through for me on this to tell me that they hear me, and that they see me and that they support me and they recognize what I'm doing. They recognize that a lot of where I come from and what I do is based on big T trauma, right? And that often people don't often survive their traumas. I'm very thankful for the ability to survive the things that I've gone through and then have moments where I'm thriving. And then when new things come up, they seem smaller because of what I've been able to survive. But I survive it because I really have dope people that I would say are family in my life, the people I choose to surround myself with. And more, I'm looking at the men that are in this space. And I just want to give you brothers, 2 in the room, one that is listening right now, ups and downs, back and forth. There are some brothers in my life that really do co-sign on Steph B, but more importantly, they love Stephanie. And Stephanie is always at the heart of the matter. Steph B is what you hear on radio. It's what you get in passing. But these are the people who know the heart of Stephanie. And I don't often incorporate masculinity into that space, simply because, as John referenced, I have to be more careful. I can't immediately become secure with a random man. Unfortunately, statistics tell me that. And my sisterhood tells me that. But because I know those things, I am really capable of seeing some goodness very easily in the men that come in my space and mean me well. And that's what I want to encourage today. Because I'm often, I mean, everybody knows I identify as womanist. I'm going to prioritize the needs, the hurts, the pain, the successes of Black women and Black girls first, because they are the least supported. But today I want to talk about the Black men who renew my faith in masculinity. And not in this masculinity, as much as we joke about it, from the perspective of running through and ready to guns blazing, but truly allowing me to not have to be strong every minute of every day. The men who come through and demonstrate that fatherlessness or a disconnect from fatherhood doesn't mean that I have to have negative interaction with men going forward. The men who come through and say kind things, the men who are not concerned with the shape of my body, but the condition of my soul. I am fortunate to have girlfriends who have husbands who have poured into me through their wives by saying, go ahead, go support your friend. No, go ahead. Does Steph need anything? They know I'm alone and they will come through. Shout out Russ Wilson, Michelle Wilson's husband. You know, I shout out Roy Tostin, Tony Tostin's husband. And a brother to the two men that I sit with now. And I appreciate that. And I know that you don't often hear it because it is easy to talk about the man who didn't give you your flowers. It is easy to talk about the man who missed an appointment. It is easy to talk about the man who is not present. But for those who are being present, not just in my life, but in the life of their daughters, I appreciate you. That is one less hurt woman I have to cross paths with. For the men who are supportive to the women in their lives who are exes, shout out Reuben Freeman, shout out Robin McDonald. These are men that one I was married to, one I dated, and still come through for me. And I appreciate that, and I'm putting name to it. Shout out Vintage A, Shelly Thomas. I'm giving him his flowers because when I was writing this book, no matter what positioning we were in with one another, he remained my friend. He consistently told me that I had value and that my words mattered. Shout out to the men that are coming through for the women in their lives and who then choose to see that humanity in other women. When I went into corporate America as a young Black girl at the time, I was 18 when I got my first corporate role. I knew something I realized very quickly is that people support and protect the people who remind them of someone. So all the white bosses I had couldn't see my bad day the same way they might see Susie's bad day because I didn't look like her and I didn't remind them of her, of his sister or his wife or his daughter. And so when I'm in the space of a Black man who acknowledges that I could be his sister, that I could be his mother, that I have experienced or his daughter may experience what I go through, I want to acknowledge that. It is not frequent because there are often moments where we do not think about one another from that space. But when it happens, it is monumental, it is influential, and it is appreciated. And I also, I'm going to go ahead and shout him out. I want to thank your friend Tech for his willingness to get on the phone with the stranger. And even if there was nothing he could do to help me protect my brand and my mission, he was willing to hear me. And he was willing to hear me. And I said this earlier. He didn't give me a fast yes or a slow no. He let me know what he could and could not do, and followed up in a timely manner. All to, I believe, and I'm willing to accept this, to give me some peace of mind with something I was dealing with. And so, brothers, I just want to say it's in you. It's in you. If you haven't felt it, if you haven't identified it, reach out to someone like James with Men to Heal. Reach out to a brother in your space that's going to edify you, uplift you, because what they pour into you, your community needs. And when I say your community, there are millions of Black and brown girls and women that need you. And that need doesn't always have to come in a physical moment. It doesn't have to be emotional as far as love and a loving relationship. It has to be love given in the spirit of family. And so I thank those of you who do that for me.
And you know how Steppin, Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in their radio. I will go ahead and close us out of here with my own rant and my own closing. And I'll just kind of end it with both of your rants were so powerful. So powerful. And it's one of the reasons why I just enjoy sharing space with you guys, because you guys empower me to think bigger, think more inclusively with regards to how I expand my mind. You remind me that the world isn't just about my little area. I have those reminders all over, but you guys often remind me of that with, the way, John, you talk to me and the way we talk just as brothers and as men. We have various levels to our kinship, and I appreciate all of them. And Steph, you bring a level of friendship and femininity, but strength that I appreciate so much. And one of the things that I love so much about you is I've gotten to a point in my life where I appreciate intentional behavior. Intentional. I am intentional about doing this or saying this or behaving this way. And one of the things that you have been consistent about is your intentional rhetoric towards empowering us men, Black men in particular. And I love that about you, because we find ourselves just in our community so mired in mediocrity and bullshit and fighting with one another and the finger pointing and blaming of each other for why we have issues in our communities with each other, with men, with women, and you're intentional. You're not blind to the brothers and the shortcomings that we have and how they affect you personally and how they affect us as a community at large. But you don't allow that to be the dominant narrative in how you speak of us and how you speak to John, how you speak to me, and how you speak to the other men in your life. And that is just so refreshing for me. And I just appreciate that about you, and I just wanted to make sure that you got those flowers, and I already spoke of John and how your unapologetic way of being in love with your people is an absolutely inspiring thing. And I wish that there were more people who had a fraction of your passion. They had a fraction of your passion. They had a fraction of your passion. We would be better off. And that's a testament. That's a testament to how I see you. So anyway, in the time that I have remaining, I would like to share with you guys my own rant and what's important to me today. And I'll be brief. I don't have to get into it. You guys know I have been in Richmond, Virginia for 30 years. August 11th, 1992 is the day that I walked, the yard of Virginia Union University for the first time. This past weekend, we celebrated our homecoming, which is more of an official anniversary. And it was a wonderful thing. My weekend started with yoga at 7 a.m. on Friday morning. And I spent time at the river on Saturday and on Friday. I said Saturday, I meant Friday. And Saturday too, actually. That's why Saturday just jumped out. It was 7 o'clock on Friday morning and 9:30 on Saturday, and I spent the day on the yard, and I had Mama join me there, and my sister Melinda, Mama's godmother, joined me there, and Melinda and I grew up in New Jersey together. She lives here in Richmond, just out of serendipity, and she had never in her entire life been on the campus of an HBCU during homecoming. And so to see all of that through her eyes was so cool because she was just in awe at certain things, like when the cheerleading squad from the opposing team joined our cheerleading squad and they did a cheer together, which I've, that's just it's something that they do. But she marveled at that. She was like, wow, they actually do that. I'm like, yeah, they do that, and it was just so cool, to walk the yard and see people, who I hadn't seen since last time we were there. Last time I was on campus for homecoming was 2019, because we've had COVID, since then, and then to see Facebook hours later and days later of all the people who were there that I missed that I didn't get to see. And it's just a glorious thing and so much pride wrapped around the fact that a historically black college and university that I am a part of, that I was able to take Mama to, and I've been taking her since I was taking her in a stroller. I don't have any pictures of that, but I can tell you. You just have to trust me on that. And I remember when we would walk down Lombardi, down across Broad Street to Virginia Commonwealth University for the various facilities that they have that, maybe we felt that it was easier to use theirs. You fast forward 30 years later, and my daughter goes to Virginia Commonwealth University. We out there. She's got on her VCU shirt, and I got on my VU shirt, and we walked in the yard together. It was just very, very surreal. I met my wife on that campus. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, okay, 30 years. 30 years. There are a lot of things that we can say that we hold dear, but when we come upon milestone level anniversaries, it is a very, very humbling thing. And I'm very proud of it. I'm very glad, but for the brief time in the fall of 1992 when the homesickness got to be so deep and so strong in me, but for that brief moment, I've never really seriously considered leaving Richmond since then. And it's just a blessing. And I the trajectory of my life went in a direction that I'm glad it went. And it is largely because of the choice that I made to come to this town and to matriculate at that university. So I would like to say peace to all of the Virginia Union University Panthers out there and those who are sympathetic to our maroon and gray, of which you clearly see me decked out in today. I guess this is the final vestige of homecoming pride that I have, but I'll have that pride with me every single day that I'm alive for the rest of the days that I have. And I appreciate it and I'm thankful for it. And so I can sit here and wax poetic about how much I love Virginia Union University and what it has given to me. But you're just going to have to just take my grand excitement and not take the words, because we're at the end of the show and I frankly don't have any more words to give you with regards to it. Just know that this past weekend was a gift for me. It was a gift for all of us Panthers and every HBCU across the nation who has had their homecomings. You know exactly how I feel. Every mid to late 40-year-old who has had decades of affiliation on a campus can understand the pride that I feel just in being in that campus. I found myself, John, and stuff a few times on Saturday in a few different stages and spaces on a campus as I walk across, and I was just stop, just look like, I remember standing right here at such and such time, and maybe I was spending time with someone else. And we've had Panthers come through the den. It's just a very, very prideful thing. I don't know how to describe in any other way, so I'll just kind of leave it there and just be thankful for the blessing that the great architect has given me for a long life, and a long affiliation with a wonderful university. And you know, you can say what you want about it. There are certainly issues that we can talk about. This obviously isn't the platform for it. Every place you go and every organization you're a part of has their have their challenges, but I think for me to know that there are thousands of people who I could see with that shirt on that says Virginia Union University on it, and there are certain things that I could say that they would know instantly what I mean when I said so hard to be a Panther, so hard to be a Union Panther. Woo! Yeah, little things like that. So there's more, but I won't bore you with them. I'll end it there by saying that is my rant that has nothing to do with what we in here talking about tonight. That's the end of the show. I want to remind everybody that independence is the key to building your legacy. Also, I want to say peace to all of the stars and all of the squares. And the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. Authenticity has no competition. I want you to be blessed, be well, but most importantly, and never forget, keep it 100. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. We'll be back live from New Den of Legacy Internet Radio next week. Y'all holla at your family. Peace.
Oh yeah, I'm with this, I'm just gonna lay back and I'ma drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. We about to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready, let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters Talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk. Steppin' is the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters Talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you wanna talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission before force. And listen up, this Marcus Stage start to talk.